yeah. Wanted to get one last live out before tomorrow. I'm gonna be otherwise preoccupied. Get a little bit of music going. Little bit of music. Set the mood. The card was great. The card delivered. To me, it was the best part of the entire year. Base, what it do? Matter of fact, I'm gonna shoot Base a link. This link is for Base. It's not for nobody else. It's for Base. So if somebody other than Base clicks the link, you getting left backstage. I want to shoot shit with my man Base. Oh, what we saw yesterday. You know, I've already uploaded a condensed version of my weekend recap. I still have to recap the Kabayel fight, Bivol fight. You know, everybody, we have Base Kit. Base Kit.
Salute, B-boy. Salute, my Capricorn compatriot. How you doing?
Very good, very good. I was just gonna do like 2-3 episodes, well, 2 more episodes today, but I was like, nah, I'd rather do a live and get people's reactions to yesterday's fight. So, what was your reaction to the card, the whole card? Did you like the card?
Yeah, I thought the card was cool. I liked how it started, like very early endeavors, and then I was hoping it would kind of roll through and carry on that way. But it was like even when the fights ended early, it didn't really kickstart the other fight to come and start a little bit earlier, so it didn't really make much difference. But other than that, yeah, I enjoyed it. Apart from one fight, well, two to be fair.
Well, which was the one fight that really you? Which was the one fight you didn't care for?
Right, so the one fight I didn't care for was Hergovich and Demori.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't like the way the Opetaia and Zorro fight ended. For those who don't know, I have skin in the game on both sides there. Like, you know that I'm now friends with Jai Opetaia, but also Ellis Zorro is my cousin's best friend, and I know Ellis very well. So to see that happen to him in the first round wasn't pleasant.
I'm sorry to hear that. You know, it's a tough business. I guess. What did you think about Bivol's performance? Because I see people have mixed reviews. They feel that he should have stopped Lyndon. Personally, I don't actually take issue with his performance because I felt like Lyndon was fighting to survive. You know, he's pulling away, he's circling away from the pocket, chin tucked behind his guard. It's not the same as using the forward momentum of the other guy to catch him clean in between the punches. You really can't do that if the guy's moving away from you all night. So what did you think about that fight?
Yeah, no, the thing is, I thought the fight itself, it was a Bivol-esque performance. It was pretty flawless. Like, he, won every round comfortably. Lyndon didn't try to engage, but I do still think that Bivol should have tried to press the action to stop him, because ultimately what happened in the 11th round, if he had have done that maybe in the 7th or the 8th when he was a little bit fresher, then I don't think Lyndon would have survived the others. I know he said afterwards, he wasn't sure if he'd still be strong after being out of the ring for a year or whatever, but realistically, him being an elite boxer, he knows his body. So he knows after 3, 4 rounds, 5 rounds, what he's feeling like internally. So he should know, okay, yeah, I've got enough to go here. And even if I have to explode and have a big moment and I don't get him out of there, well, I can relax for the next couple of rounds and then go again like he tried to do at the end. So I do think the finish should have came, but I'm not unhappy with the performance. I still think it was very comprehensive, and he still shows that he's levels above pretty much everyone else in the division.
What about Kabayel? Kabayel took me by surprise.
Yeah.
I knew that Kabayel was good. No Monday morning quarterback, because I went with Makhmudov to beat him, but I went with Makhmudov on points because I didn't think Makhmudov would be able to knock him out. He could knock out Carlos Takam, and that was after he hurt Takam. And I knew Agit Kabayel, he can move. He's not that big on power, at least he wasn't in the build-up of that fight, but he can move. This guy's agile and he's got hand speed on the inside. What was your reaction to him not just beating Makhmudov, but stopping Makhmudov?
No, the stopping him, that was very, very surprising. Like, I thought that Makhmudov would win by KO, but late, because my thoughts was that Kabayel would be winning the fight in the first half, maybe get caught with something, and then be in a bit of a more survival mode where he can't necessarily move and stay out of the way as much. But I do know that movement is something that Makhmudov really suffers badly with, even with the Takam fight. But if you remember, even in that fight, as much as Takam was moving, he had a lot of like lateral movement, he was body rolling and everything, he still got knocked down 3 times.
Yeah, he
And
did.
I couldn't trust that Kabayel wouldn't get hit with that and then eventually sort of get taken out late. What I didn't expect was for Makhmudov to gas out after the second round, almost like he didn't even train for the fight. Not just the body punches, just like he didn't train. That's what it felt like.
Mm-mm. Julio, click the link, bro. I'm gonna shoot my man Julio a link. We're just gonna keep the panel a little bit small for the start because I don't need 10 people talking at the same time. And yeah, I agree that Agit Kabayel stopping him, I thought was the least likely scenario. Least likely, but apparently he can't take it to the body. There were two things that were exposed about Makhmudov. Well, not really two, but kind of. If you've never seen him before, that he doesn't like movement, doesn't have a good engine, and he can't take it to the body because it was the body shots that did him in. It seems like it was the body shots that really did him in.
But you notice when it comes to any of these guys with these iron chins and these, these tough heads, they've always got soft bodies. It's always a body shot that hurts them. It happened with Joyce very early on. It's happened with Makhmudov, and it happens with what's his name? What's the Marius Vak as well. Every time he's
Sergey
really been hurt. Yeah, and Kovalev. So yeah.
So yeah, we got Julio in the building. Julio.
What's up, Julio?
Julio, did you enjoy the card yesterday?
I thoroughly enjoyed the card. Great value for money, in my opinion.
Did you guys happen to catch Stefan Espinoza's critiques of the card, saying that it was ill-timed and poorly placed and all this different stuff that, if he would have did it, it would have been at a different time of year and it would have been a missed opportunity. What do you make of that?
I didn't catch that, but that is hilarious considering he don't even have a proper job right at the minute.
Right?
Literal comments from the peanut gallery. Like, okay, cool.
Like, dog, it's like, yo, dog, and I can only repeat what I said, that if this guy knew anything about anything, he'd still have a job at Showtime. Clearly, your way of doing things doesn't work. And you see the usual acolytes and Haymanites like, yeah, Stefan knows they did huge pay-per-views. Bro, whatever you did this year, it wasn't enough to save your job. So clearly, you did something wrong. You're not, Showtime Boxing isn't out of the game because of the great job you were fucking doing. So just shut the fuck up, dog. Like, ridiculous. But what did you guys make of Wilder and Parker? Was that what you thought would happen?
Yeah,
that's what I thought could happen. Like we talked about it. Like, yeah, it's a possibility that he gets outboxed because he gets outboxed by everybody. But man, this dude looked like a fucking domestic level slap boxer.
No,
yesterday.
You remember, I specifically picked Parker. I said Parker would win the fight, but I thought he'd actually knock out Wilder in around about the 9th round. And as we see in the 8th round, he weren't that far off from doing it. So
where does Wilder go from here, man? Like, I have so much to say about Wilder. For me, the focus really is that fight. AJ did what I knew he could do. I knew he could beat Wallin. Like, bro, the whole air about Wallin is really centered around making Fury look bad, and Fury's overrated, so Wallin making him look bad is not that big a deal. Whereas Parker and Wilder, I feel that is a cup of coffee for the boxing fans. Like, wake the fuck up, fam. This dude is not what y'all think he is. And there are still people making excuses for him. There are still people.
Yeah, what's next for him is HVAC certification because his career in the fighting arts is over. Like, I mean that, like, he should, if he cares about his health, he should retire, because if that dude gets in the ring with AJ, and I've been saying it here, that dude gets in the ring with any version of AJ, he'll get hurt very, very badly. I mean, his feet were all over the place. Like, apparently he hired Malik Scott to, make him better, like a better boxer. He looked worse than before, to be honest. Like,
I mean, I think the Malik Scott version the Malik Scott version of Wilder is the worst version of Wilder. Can we all agree on that?
We can, but I think no. You know what I think he's gonna do. You remember he said, "Oh well." In the ring, he said, "It says in the end, but if it is, it's been real." But afterwards, in that video, he said, "No, we're not done yet." He's gonna go for that. He's gonna go for the what's it called, the Ngannou fight. He's gonna try and do that in Saudi in March.
And I think he's probably going to get embarrassed.
I can see it.
Probably.
I can see him getting knocked out.
I think he's and he's gonna, and I think that'll be the legacy of Fury and Wilder jointly. That for some reason people were convinced that these two knuckleheads were the best of the era, and both of you may end up getting beat by an MMA fighter. Both of you. You know, at which point AJ's gonna have to come in and save the day.
As always.
As always, you know, because that's how. Francis Ngannou actually tweeted. He either tweeted or posted on Instagram.
Licking my lips afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So AJ's gonna have to settle that. I thought AJ looked fantastic. Do you guys agree? He looked more switched on than I've ever seen him. Well, not ever, but than in recent memory. Everything was gelling. Everything was. It wasn't crunchy.
Phenomenal. No, I thought he looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
I see people tepidly giving him praise, but no, to me, like, man, those pull counters, that fucking backhand with the hook behind it, like, he looked sharp as fuck. Like he looked like the heavyweight champion of the world.
That left hook he caught him with.
I agree. Here's the thing, though. I agree, but I have to do. I do have to give some sort of counterpoint to that as well. As good as he looked that good because he knew what Otto Wallin was. He's been in the ring with him so many times. He was comfortable. He knew. If you remember the Laura Woods interview, the one thing when she said, "What is it that you're most looking forward to about this fight?" He said, "The punches I can land." He already knew what he was going to be able to do to him. So, what I need to see is him in there with an opponent that he's never fought before, or maybe he sparred him a little bit, but you know what I mean. Like he knew Wallin.
You'll see him in there with Hrgovic. You'll see him, and he's going to beat the shit out of Hrgovic.
Even with knowing Wallin is a real opponent, dude. Like he really has a good lead hand, good movement. I thought he was gonna spoil the whole night and would be an ugly UD, but the fact that AJ got him out of there, made him quit. Like who the fuck is making Wallin quit in this day and age? Who else in this division is gonna be able to do that? The speed, the athleticism,
I'm not taking anything away from the performance. Don't get me wrong.
Like, dude, that dude is I'm not saying like I'm not gonna say he's gonna beat Usyk if they ever fight again or something like that, but. Like levels, like between him and Wilder, like Wilder is apparently the other guy in the top 5. Levels.
Bro, I don't even think Wilder. I want to say this that I don't even think Wilder's in the top 5. Like I think he should be in the bottom 10.
I haven't had Wilder in the top 5 for about 6 years, if I'm being real. But you remember my list.
1 and 2 should be between Usyk and Fury. 3 can be AJ, and you never know. Maybe AJ can be 2, but 1, 2, and 3 for me, Usyk, Fury, AJ, right? And then you got to put Parker in there because, well, he just beat Wilder. You got to put Andy in there because, he was unified at least.
I would put Zang.
Zang.
And I would do 2A, 2B. Was
Zang before Ruiz, because obviously he beat Parker. I mean, he beat Joyce, who beat Parker. So
right, he beat right. I mean,
yeah, I would do like a 2A and 2B between Fury and Joshua because the way, like, it's the nuances of Joshua's performance last night, like the distance management, the head movement, the pull counters, like that type of shit is not happening in the heavyweight division a lot. Like it's literally him and a couple other people with that level of skill. So and with how Fury's been looking, and I don't know if you've seen his dad talk. Like his dad's saying
his dad sounds like he's bracing people for him to lose. If you've been paying attention to his recent comments, that's what it sounds like. Like you're just getting people ready for that moment where he goes in there and he looks slow and clumsy and he can't deal with the movement. That's what it seems like. Because every other comment I've seen coming from him is, "Oh, he's not with the serious people. He's not training." It's like, yeah, bro. Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Calderon. Panel, can Francis outbox Wilder? Wilder's so terrible, that's actually possible. He's so bad, that could actually happen.
I believe so. I truly believe he will knock Wilder out if they fight. Because if Wilder was scared to throw against Parker, he's going to be petrified to throw against someone he knows can hit hard.
Bro,
Francis
but my thing is
Ngannou
like
is
not even
200. Wait. Francis Ngannou is 273 pounds, and it's not 273 pounds of blubber. That's a solid motherfucker, man. Pause, but that's a big ass man, and it's not fat. It's not jelly rolls like it is with Fury, bro. If he hit Wilder's skinny little ass, Wilder turn into sand, turn into fucking sand.
bro, like not even exaggeration, like hate boner for Wilder, all that shit. Like, no, he literally probably could get outboxed by Francis Ngannou. Dude, all that lateral movement for no fucking reason, pulling back on the ropes. I thought he was gonna get knocked out at one point. The way he was pulling back, like if Parker wasn't such a donkey and actually threw in some feints while he was stepping to him like that, he honestly could have got him out of there. But he looked terrible, dude. Like he looked uniquely terrible last night.
I'll
Relative
say
to all his past performances, like he should go ask what's his face to train him again because he looks like fucking dog shit.
I would say just everything about Wilder is ridiculous. Like, I think it was Julio that pointed it out. Somebody pointed it out. This dude literally crosses his feet while he's moving away. You know what I mean? Like, he literally crosses his feet. It's like, yo, dog, like, everything about this dude sucks. How could anybody have thought that this is the number one or the number two heavyweight in the world? And it's just, well, who thought that? Stupid fucking Americans. That's who thought that. I don't really think people in Britain thought that shit.
No, they did for a while after the Fury fights, but that was just to prop up Fury. I had to battle against that narrative for so long, I got tired of it.
Shout out to Virtuoso. All Wilder had to do was flash the old 1-2, and the teach looked like an inflatable man on used car lot on a windy day. Anyways, Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. For those not aware, it's Christmas Eve. You know, if you're somewhere else in the world and you don't know what day it is, it's Christmas Eve. And I hope everybody is having a good Christmas Eve with their families. The reason I'm doing this live is because I may not do anything tomorrow. So, shout out to Cervecero. Some clowns out here still think Wilder beats AJ. Yeah, stupid motherfuckers. I talked to one motherfucker yesterday, man, in the spaces. Shout out to Rico. Shout out to everybody that was in that space. The dude basically said it. The only reason they prop up Wilder is for the simple fact that he was all that America had. Yeah, I know. And just because that's all you had doesn't make it good. That dude is fucking horrible. The amount of gaslighting that went into Wilder's career, my God, bro. I'm just glad that shit is over. But what I'm afraid of is that he's not done ruining the division or ruining the sport. That Ngannou might knock him out, and that'll be another embarrassing moment for boxing fans. Just go make fucking mixtapes, bro. Just go fuck Telly Swift and go make mixtapes, bro. They go my man Aladdin. I'll shoot Aladdin link. He was in the space.
My whole thing is like if he is serious about fighting AJ, which I hope he's not for his fucking health sake, he should go back to fighting his normal level of opposition. Like go knock out the cans you've been knocking out, get some activity going, and then maybe try and get that fight again. But I don't want to see that
knock
next.
out those cans. I don't think he can knock out those cans. Look, what I saw yesterday, honestly, was a shot fighter. I don't think he can take a shot, which is why he was so determined to not take a shot. And even glancing punches, he panicked. You know, he just lost it. Like when Parker had him in the corner, he looked like he's trying to fight a wasp. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't fighting, bro. You getting assaulted, all right? And that's in the moments where you guys don't smother each other. Your timing, that's gone, bro. If you don't have the right hand, then what do you have? Because that's all you've ever had is the right hand. You never had much of a jab. You never had a left hook. You never had an uppercut. You never had good coordination. If you don't have that right hand to save you, what the fuck do you have?
He's a lamppost, a walking lamppost. Like he was fighting like he walked through a spider web or something. When he every time he got cornered.
I'm saying that was his strategy when Parker closes the distance. This shit was ridiculous. And this is the guy, this is how desperate and I'm going to say silly. This is how silly American boxing fans are. Y'all still trying to defend that guy? Y'all still trying to prop up that guy? Y'all motherfuckers just don't want to be wrong. That's what I see. You just don't want to be wrong that the chickens are coming home to roost slowly. And you starting to realize, damn, I really don't know shit about boxing. Yeah. Shout out to the Gooch. Wilder is trash. That is why I know Andy Ruiz would knock him out. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we kind of got an answer on that, right? If Andy fought that version of Wilder face, what would have happened?
Oh, I think Andy would have had a field day because difference is Joseph Parker was walking in very, very cautiously, either staying on the outside. He was walking in very slow. I think Andy would have walked in a lot quicker, and he would have walked in behind the jab, keeping Wilder's hands occupied. He would have got if he got him in those corners, he would have dropped him sooner or later, even if it wasn't with a headshot.
I agree with that because one thing I didn't like about Joseph's offense, look, it was effective. He won the rounds. He won practically 12-0, right? But it just felt like they were sloppy. That the punches weren't landing as cleanly as they could have. The overhand rights, and maybe it would have been nice if he would have spent a little bit more time on the body to get him to drop his hands, so you could get him with those big overhand rights.
He was throwing from the outside too much. He was falling over his front foot. He was trying to basically throw before he was in range for Wilder to do something, and that's why he kept falling off balance. I was like, he needs to get his feet closer before he throws that shot.
Yeah, but it worked for him, and this was like one of the talking points that I raised ahead of that fight. That Joseph has actually been in there with a lot of people: Carlos Takam, Andy Ruiz, Anthony
Great trainer too.
Joshua, Dillian White, Derek Chisora, Joe Joyce, Junior Fa, and I only bring up Junior Fa because he was unbeaten when they fought. So
Yeah.
it's like he's been in those trenches. He's won some fights, he's lost some fights, but he's been there. He's been there and done that with some of the very best fighters. Whereas Wilder, when you really look at it, dog, like all you did was Luis Ortiz, bro.
Bro, on top of
it.
that, Joseph Parker's been active. Wilder hasn't. And as far as Andy goes, like, yeah, I think Andy will eat him up on the inside, bro. Like, that's all Andy. The only thing I would caution though is that Andy's also a lazy pig and he hasn't been fighting. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe he'll get some buy-in with that, and could potentially catch him. But yeah, no, these dudes are cooked.
Julio, question for you and Jules before you read that super chat. Do you think that the Saudis at this moment are actually very upset at Fury and Wilder for basically
Yes.
not performing in their two biggest fights?
I think that whether or not I think they are upset with Fury, right? But I don't know that they have anything to be upset with Wilder in the sense that if this event turns out to be very successful, then no, they have nothing to be upset about. You just lost, and those are the breaks. You just lost, and those are the breaks. I think it's eye-opening though that both of you were brought out there. You had to. Maybe they don't have all the context that we have. You understand what I mean? We look at it as, oh, well, these two guys have been inside a bubble for the better part of the last 5 years. You didn't want to fight other people. And, you start fighting other people and you really can't stay in character, Granted that he fought Robert Helenius late last year and he knocked him out. If you know anything, well, that's his old sparring partner. He was sparring that guy, I think, to prepare for Fury. So I don't know if they have all the context that we have, that they've been paying attention for as long as we have. But I wouldn't say that they have buyer's remorse with Wilder. I think they have buyer's remorse with Fury because, well, you headlined that show. That was you and Ngannou headlining that show, and it didn't really do anything. I think they said it did 400,000 worldwide. That's a drop in the bucket, bro. Y'all spent all that money and did all that to only sell 400,000 pay-per-views.
Yeah, but see, I think at least though you can say that Fury got the job done and he still won that fight. Wilder basically fumbled the bag because the whole point of this was to convince people that an AJ and Wilder fight was next and that it was viable. No one's gonna fucking pay to see Wilder fight after this. I mean, he looked like dog shit and he lost. You can't make that fight next and have people really invested. So
and he wanted to be the fucking main event. Can you believe that?
Oh my god, yeah.
Shout out to Beats who just joined the chat. Let me read the super chat. LJ said Wilder and Fury who performed worse in Saudi. Yes, they did. Appreciate the super chat. Beats, how does this evening find you?
It is indeed a pleasure to join Ring IQ. My man Base the Kid, Jay. in this great freaking event, man. Hey, it was beautiful.
What's
It,
happening,
it was
Beats?
fucking great,
Yesterday
bro.
was what I don't know, maybe the best day in boxing.
Oh man, I mean, it was honestly, I enjoyed the whole card. The only fight that I didn't really, that I guess kind of sapped the energy, it was Bivol's fight. It was, but it was because it was knockout city up until that point. You know what I mean? Like Jai Opetaia's knockout, Hrgovic's knockout, the Agit Kabayel knockout. It was like things were moving fast, and that was like the only fight that took the momentum away. Not to say that Dimitri looked bad, because I don't think he looked bad, and I don't hold it against him that he didn't knock out Linden. Linden was fighting to survive. But that was the only fight that I wasn't really crazy about. What did you guys think about? Let me go to Beats. What'd you think about Miller and Dubois, man? Good fight.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, Daniel can improve on that because he didn't actually do the job correctly. You know, like he was supposed to be pivoting a lot more after he got his shots off because he's got the youth and he's got the you know he's got the physical gifts to do that. But yo, you know what I mean? He took Miller's best and like see the thing with Miller, he can't get a lot of leg because he's so heavy. He can't really get a lot of snap. But they're still hard arm punches. You're talking 300 pound worth of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like Miller, not too good in the boxing ring, but not to fight in the street, bro. No, fighting Miller in the street.
Oh yeah, and I'll say that Miller throwing those punches took something out of him as well. You know, just throwing those punches, moving that 333-pound body. It's like, bro, everything is gonna be hard for your fat ass to do. I was scared that Daniel was gonna knock him down. Because if this fat motherfucker fall down, yo, it's a wrap, bro.
He ain't
He
getting
not
back up.
getting
He's
back
not getting
up,
back up.
bro.
But can I just the two not very inspiring moment, Mark Demore and like why would Filip Pogovic even allow himself to fight that opponent? You should no, get me someone better. Someone
Rod.
that's what he should have said.
AJ
Oh,
beats him.
Jermaine Franklin, somebody. Good
AJ,
lord.
AJ beats him. I like I already see it that like Zang would be a more interesting fight, but I would still be 75-80% confident AJ beats Zang. With Philippe, bro, you are all rabbit punches. Why is it like
I was a
almost every
Jules. I was about to say that. Do you know? But that's the one thing even AJ's got to worry about because all he's got to do is land one of those rabbit punches, and then he's scrambling someone's brain.
and I understand the concern, but I think that the snap on AJ's jab and the fact that he is poised long, he's got long reach. I don't think Philippe gets to do that without getting popped in the face with a jab beforehand. Like
I,
Philippe is slow and cumbersome.
bro, Pulev 2.0, bro. He'll do him dirty. Do him
Yeah, like
dirty at mid
he
range.
would. I could see him. I definitely see him knocking out Hrgovic. I think Hrgovic is next. I mean, if he goes in March, maybe it'll be Hrgovic for the interim. What do you think about that fight, Beats?
Yeah, Hrgovic is regressed. I see AJ taking him apart around anywhere between 8 and 11. He can't take him. You can't take no one lightly in the top 10. Can't take no one lightly. But yeah, Pulev, get a belt back. That'd be great. And Ben gave the game away, didn't he? Because he said we're gonna get that USEC result. We're gonna get Derek James is gone. Derek James is gone.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I think I did a video about this when I heard that Ben Davison would be working his corner. The way that I rationalized it was maybe Derek was otherwise preoccupied because he had to help Ryan. This card, and I'll say it again, most people don't realize it was all put together on short notice. So perhaps Derek wasn't available, but in any event, this was an audition for Ben Davison. This is kind of like what that was. I'm like, based on how he does with Ben in the corner, that's probably who he gonna go with. And honestly, I think Ben is a way better fit. Uh, I ain't gonna say he's a better trainer. You know, it's easy to kick Derek when he's down. Derek has had some success, so I won't do that. But I will say that I have a higher opinion of Ben's boxing brain than Derek's boxing brain because Derek is a very straightforward approach. You see that in his fighters. You see that in Errol.
I think Ben Davison's fighters are way more dynamic. They tend to be way more dynamic. But also, let's be fair. Like Ben Davison also went through a period in his career where people were like, "Man, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?" Like,
Yeah.
because there was like a period where a lot of his fighters were getting stopped and like they were looking like shit. So you got to give Derek the benefit of the doubt as well.
No, to be
Yeah. Yeah.
fair to Ben
Yeah.
Davison, not a lot of his fighters have actually lost fights. That's the thing. There's only been a couple of high-profile ones. Lee Wood
Yeah,
mainly being one, but other than that, he's actually on a very his win streak is much higher than the losses. He doesn't have many losses on his record. To be fair,
Yeah.
See, the
Like.
thing, you know what I like about Ben Davison's appointment, right? Because of the way Tyson left him, high and dry, that never sat well with him. But he's very polite. He's always talks well of Tyson. But he wants to show Fury, his dad, and everyone else, this is what you missed. I'm going to get this guy to come and wreck all of your shit.
Hey,
And
Beats, how if Sugar Hill Stewart? Every time I see Sugar Hill Stewart in the corner now, his fighter loses.
yeah,
I've s- I've seen him at least two. I've seen him in 2 to 3 fights. Aside from just Fury shit, 2 to 3 fights I've seen him in the corner for the fighter. They fucking lose, bro. They fucking lose.
and one thing
and
about Ben,
bad, bro. Remember
one,
the dude who fought Matthias? Bro was
oh,
looking bad.
Try to tell you, dog.
Lawrence
Not look,
Okoli, yeah.
not looking
one,
good out
one
here,
thing,
B.
one thing
Good.
about Ben Davison, he works extremely hard. That's one thing. I mean, and he's young as well, man. He's young, and I think he's hitting his stride, man. He's hitting, and I think AJ Lee Wood in the gym. It seems to be working. I think I actually prefer that more than Derek James.
Bro, and then they got Lee Wiley, so they're really, I know for a fact that AJ's in the room with him really breaking down film and like looking at fighters' weaknesses and shit. Whereas with Derek, he's very old school where he's just like, "Oh, we don't worry about what
No, he's
our
not
opponent
old
does."
school. That's the thing. He's not. I remember a
Well, he's
quote.
he's pig-headed because he said, I remember when he fucking said Crawford, he's doing film study on Crawford and he's saying, "Oh, it's just athleticism." This dude is
Yeah,
on camera saying that dumb shit.
that's what I was gonna say. That he said some shit that was kind of like scoffing at the old school methods and focusing on athleticism. Well, that's why so many boxers today are so shit because they're just more focused on fitness than boxing. You're not trying to win a triathlon here. You're trying to win a fight. And for all Arrow's athleticism, what the fuck did that do for him? And then Jermel's athleticism, what the fuck did that do for him? You got sporting icons in
Well,
the building.
it helped him run around for 90 minutes.
I mean, the joke is, so before you go to sporting, it's like if you train to actually box and to box in the fights, you actually don't even need all the stamina and stuff because you're going to be comfortable. You're not going to be breathing heavy because your shots are going to be flowing. All those old school guys, they wasn't pounding the pavement hardcore every single day, but they could
Bro,
box 15 rounds because they knew what they were doing.
Angelo Dundee famously said it, like, yeah, fighters should never run more than 3 miles a day.
It's
Yeah.
hard on the knees. It's hard on the ankles. Sporting, you saw yesterday's Day of Reckoning card. What is your reaction to the show?
Well, firstly, Merry Christmas to everyone. I think that the entire card was phenomenal. I mean, if it, cheaper than what our standard pay-per-views are, and a much better, deeper quality card. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And the Saudis are doing fantastic, and long may it continue. Hopefully, this in just a short period, and a few months later, they're just going to die out of boxing. Hopefully not.
No, I mean, I don't think they're making like right now, what they're doing is using sports to promote tourism. So we're not going to see the same investment that we're seeing from, let's say, a broadcast network in a market like this one or a market like yours. We're not going to see that yet. Right now, they're just using big time sports to promote tourism. But I do believe that, yeah, after a while, they might come out with their own promotional outfit, and that'll be interesting because they'll have more money than anybody else if they do that. So we'll see what happens.
What I think they're going to do, Rick. I think they're going to make a league. Basically, it's going to be a boxing league.
That wouldn't be bad, Beats.
Yeah.
I just can't get over how embarrassing the Americans were. Cause it's like, yo, this shit. Nah, but see, this
Did
the
you hear
shit that
that quick Steven Espinoza yesterday?
I brought that shit. I'm like, yo, are you fucking serious, bro? You that got booted off of Showtime, you're gonna give them advice on how they should really, so they can end up like you. The fucking nerve of that guy. I'm like, yo, dog. Fucking nerve of that. I'm like, yo, do you have no situational awareness? Nobody should take any advice about programming from you because you waited until the fifth and final year of a 5-year deal to start making fights that matter. And that's why you don't have a job, you silly
And then,
motherfucker.
he's got the nerve to complain, oh, you shouldn't have made it conflict with American football games. The zone goes out to 200 flipping countries, you prick. Why should they
Yo,
arrange their event around a few people who might be watching American football? Come on, man.
because they still think the main thing is they still Stefan's not gonna let it go, and a lot of old boxing guys are not gonna let it go. That the money here is not what it was. The audience here is not what it was. Beats, you know that I've been saying this for about 5 years. This is not the mecca of boxing. That shit died a long time ago, bro. This is not the
Yeah.
mecca. I'm sorry. There's historical value and all. Yeah. Look, I'm talking about right now. This is not the mecca of boxing, bro. There's plenty of American boxers they don't get behind. The conversation that we had with the idiot in the spaces yesterday, Beats was there. You know, this idiot basically confessed that, well, the only reason that they were propping up Wilder as much as they were is because he's American. How did that work out? How did that work out for you guys? Wow, you know what I mean? But you know, what was your reaction sporting to Wilder versus Parker? What was your reaction? Was that what you thought was going to happen?
Well, I mean, this is what I said in the build-up in the very few videos I've been doing lately, that with Wilder, he didn't do anything different. When I'm hearing people afterwards saying, "Oh, it was inactivity," or "He's getting old now," or no, this happens to him every single fight. It's just that he pulls out the right hand, and then people forget what happened up to that point. It's just that he couldn't land the right hand.
So, absolutely.
Well,
no difference.
That's literally what I said. That I'm like, the only difference between yesterday's fight and any other Wilder fight before it was there was no right hand. But other than that, that's how you be looking most of the time.
Let's keep it real, right? This is probably maybe the third best opponent. No, he's better than Ortiz. He's younger. He's not on blood pressure medication.
Bro, this is the second best fighter he's ever fought.
Yeah,
second
no
best.
doubt. No doubt. No
and
doubt.
AJ beat him 6 years ago.
Right.
When he was in his prime.
And Dillian beat him as well. And Dillian beat him. And remember how he avoided Dillian?
Yeah.
Bro, technically, Chisora beat. To me, Chisora beat Parker in the first one. Yeah, he beat Parker. He should have got the decision. He beat
technically
Parker.
Andy Ruiz Jr. did as well. Technically.
And remember, I don't know if anyone remembers, I was kicking up a stink because everyone was saying, let's protect Derek from Wilder. Because I said, let Derek fight that mother. Let him fight him.
Don't forget Wilder ducked Derek Chisora about 5 years ago as well. People forget that.
It was about 8-9 years ago. And Derek wrote him a letter. He wrote a letter to Deontay Wilder saying, I know you're ignoring me, but I don't think you're all that. I want to fight you. And Deontay did nothing.
Yeah, they did the press conference and everything, or Wilder didn't show up.
That's right.
Correct.
I'll say this. This speaks to what I've been saying all along. Nobody lies and likes being lied to more than the American fight fans, because it's like a torrential rainstorm. It's all coming down like, yo, dog, this dude is ass. What the fuck are y'all getting behind him for? This dude is ass cheeks, Bree. He sucks.
If the Wilder Povetkin fight had happened, this would have happened years ago.
Absolutely.
And he got Povetkin as well, because Povetkin, people forget that even though the Maldonian was in his system, it only just went on the banned list and he was under the legal limit to compete. So he would have been fine for that match, but he didn't even wait for the B sample, jumped straight back on the airplane from Sheffield.
That style, Povetkin, he's a shorter guy, stockier guy, moving side to side, coming over the top with hooks, coming under with uppercuts. I'm like, bro, what the fuck was Wilder going to do with that guy? What the fuck was he going to do with that guy? This ain't fucking Dominic Brazil, fam. Like, you would have got your ass whooped. And that's to me, that's the story of Wilder. That by all rights, they like to call him an overachiever. I'll give him that much. He is an overachiever because for
Agreed.
him to have ever been heavyweight champion, that's a fucking miracle because you fucking suck, bro. The only way you could be heavyweight champion is if they protected you. Because if they would have let you loose, Derek wasn't protected. 13-0 fighting Tyson Fury. That's what the fuck he was doing. 13-0 fighting Tyson Fury. Battle of the unbeatens. Who the fuck are you fighting? Fat cruiserweights, journeyman, so on and so forth. To me, Wilder never should have been a champion. And that
Well-
might sound harsh. That might sound harsh, but aren't you motherfuckers harsh to European fighters all the time? Everybody
harsh at
from
all.
outside the country is a Euro bum. No,
But Mace
y'all got
Deverne-
some Ameri bums.
But Mace Deverne is your second best win.
It's not hard at all. AJ
I know it
fought
sounds
Dillian.
harsh. It sounds like I'm hating, but it's true. That's his second best win.
Motherfuckers. I'm like,
AJ fought Dillian, right, to get his shot at Charles Martin. That was his the fight before he fought for the title. Who did Wilder fight in an eliminator to fight Deverne? Who did he fight?
Jason Gavin.
No, Malik Scott. Malik
Oh,
Scott
Malik
was
Scott,
his
yeah.
eliminator for the WBC title. That was his eliminator. Malik
yeah, we know he took the dive.
Scott. And
No,
this
he
is
took
after
the dive.
Malik. This is after Malik quit against Derek Chisora.
Yep.
Listen, come on, man. It's a
Did
joke.
you see Malik Scott? You see Malik Scott on the pads with Wilder in the pre? You see how he was over exaggerating those punches? Malik Scott was spinning backwards, doing backflips every time like a Wilder hit the pads. I was like, come on, man.
It's like a Chuck Norris movie, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck y'all doing? What the fuck are y'all doing, yo? And Wilder spin, I seen some shit, him hitting the bag and he's spinning and pot of around. I'm like, yo, dog, you boxing or you on Dancing with the Stars? Like, what is all this shit? Wilder is a pantomime, bro. Like,
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
sorry, he's a pantomime. Like, this some cartoon shit. Y'all just acting to be acting. Like, this shit fake as fuck.
I would like to see Wilder against Miller, though. That's one thing Wilder never done. He never cleaned up domestically.
I'll say, I would look, Miller, as annoying as he is, I could really go for Miller versus Joe Joyce. That would be the brain damage fight, the concussion fight. I could go for that, but Wilder, get the fuck out of boxing, bro. I'm tired. I'm tired of what you did to the division, to the sport. Get the fuck out of boxing, bro. I don't look at nothing through rose tinted lenses. We never got undisputed because of you, bro. Because of you. You blocked it when Klitschko wanted it with Stavern. You blocked it when Joshua wanted it with you. You blocked it after Fury beat you and Joshua and Fury was going to fight you in your mediation. Go away, bro.
He blocked
Go
it with
away.
Klitschko as well. Don't forget that after the Stavern fight, him and Shelley.
Yep.
Like, go away, bro. Go away. Good ass chicken.
Who's your favorite, Joshua or Herkovich?
Joshua, easily. Look at the
Yeah.
cup. Cup.
That would be a fun fight. It would be fun
If he-
punishment for about 8 rounds, 8, 9 rounds.
If he can't come around the side, over the top with the rabbit punches, and he won't because the jab is going to be in his face. Like, I've been saying this all week, ever since Jermaine Franklin tweeted it, because he's one of the few people that have actually said it. Joshua has speed. He's not known as a speedster, but yeah, the man is fast. For a dude 6'6", 250 pounds, the man is fast. So Hergovic is too slow, fam. Like, your little his jab, I don't even know, dog. Like, Hergovic's jab, I don't know. It's like such a half-assed jab, and it's so slow. It's like, nah, dog, you fish food. Zang would be a more interesting fight, and I think the time will come for that fight. I think AJ might end up fighting him. That could be a big cash fight.
I think
there's
Joshua
some
will knock him out. Joshua will knock Zang out.
Zang is a great counterpuncher. Great counterpuncher. So if you're a bozo that comes forward in a straight line and you're just gonna throw, well, yeah, you setting yourself up to get fucked up, bro.
I mean, I think all those people who've been saying that Joshua's washed, that he's mentally screwed, he's gun shy, he can't fight southpaws. He answered every single one of those against the guy who took Tyson Fury to hell hell in a handbasket.
Well, that's why I was calling for a long time that fight Otto Wallin. I think he could knock out Otto Wallin. If you want to send the division a message, send him the message that yo, this dude, don't let Fury fool you. This dude is light work, B. I'll show you. And he did that shit yesterday.
Well, if you look at it, you see like Joshua made light work of a tough opponent for Tyson Fury. He's beat Joe Parker, who's just beat Wilder, who is Fury's arguably his best win. Maybe Klitschko, and Joshua's also beat Klitschko. Joshua has by far a superior resume to Tyson Fury. Far.
They didn't think about it that way at first, but they will when the smoke settles. When this era is over, see, I think Usyk's gonna beat him. I think Usyk's gonna knock him out. I don't think there's gonna be a second fight between Usyk and Fury. I think if Fury loses how I think he's gonna lose, he retires and he goes off and does the Christmas album. Who fucking knows, right? He won't push for the rematch. And when it's all said and done, what Fury's resume will be is Klitschko and Wilder. That'll be it. Klitschko and White. But we can't give you but so much credit for White because you only fought him years after AJ fought him. When you hold up the resumes side by side, AJ's resume is gonna look better. Just because it took so long for Fury to take a loss, it's like it's a big mind job because Fury, you should have already had a loss to John McDermott. I don't want to beat that drum, but I'm saying like, yeah, dog, you supposed to have a L already. It'll look real different if that one was already in the column. People still think of you as unbeaten when you shouldn't be, but it's all right.
Technically, he should have 3 losses: John McDermott, Otto Wallin, Francis Ngannou.
That's another thing that the Otto Wallin fight, and we've said this many times before, if that were any other fighter with a cut like that, that fight gets stopped, bro. That's not me exaggerating. That's, you just hate Fury. Bro, I seen fights just... Andre versus Akavov got stopped just because Andre was landing too many jabs. Akavov wasn't cutting nothing. He wasn't bleeding or nothing. The referee just didn't like that he keep getting hit. So believe me, if your name wasn't Tyson Fury, they would have stopped that fight. You should have at least 2 losses. But hey, it is what it is, bro. Your time will come. While this time has come, your time is coming. I don't think he beats Usyk. And I'm not just going with Usyk to beat him. I'm going with Usyk to stop him. I think he's gonna make him look stupid.
I
That's
said a
my
few years ago
prediction.
that Wilder is like a Jeff Lacey. I think people are starting to see it now.
Bro, after he lost in 2020, that was the thumbnail I had, Jeff Lacey 2.0. All that talking, all that acting, all that extra shit just to get your ass completely whooped, bro. Like, come on, B.
Well, what people are saying if Wallin had power? Well, he had not enough power to rock Fury in the 12th and cut him with a left hook. You know what I mean? So...
And Joshua didn't just beat him; he made the boy quit.
Exactly. That's one thing. It's one thing to incapacitate him. It's another thing to make the dude say, "Yeah, I don't want to do this shit. I want to sit down. I want to stay on."
Wallin was terrified in there. He was terrified, man.
Well, you saw he was shrinking, Beats. He was talking that shit in the build-up, but I noticed in fight week the dude is shrinking. Like I didn't say. Yeah, all right, bro. Yeah, bro. I see your ass. I see you, yo.
Joshua was mean though. All fight week, he was in mean mode.
because because the wild shit is that he's surrounded by. But look, I ain't go. Obviously, I like Opetaia and Bivol and a lot of other fighters on the card. But you got all these losers always talking about you, Jarrell. You a loser, my guy. You serious? You a fucking loser, bro. Wilder, you another fucking loser. And Otto, you just acting fly because they acting fly. You ain't even like that, my guy. Come on, B. You ain't even like that. Don't talk crazy to me, bro. It's like you gonna get tired of people always tearing you down, and then you gotta be surrounded, and then you got low ass Dev Sani right there. You know you can pick his low ass up and throw him off a building, but you can't because you'll get arrested for murder.
I was a little disappointed with Joshua though. I was disappointed that Joshua didn't mock Wilder and Miller after though.
No, I respect what he. No, I respect what he did. I respect what
he was trying to preserve the bag just in case.
To me, if someone's disrespected you, you get the upper hand on them, and you show them kindness after. It's even worse.
Hurts more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead of
People
Wilder,
were.
you fucking bitch, you fucking hoe, you lost. Bro, I don't even gotta insult you. You
Yeah.
are an insult.
Oh, I never mind, Wilder. You pick yourself up and try again. You know what I mean?
You
Don't worry
PI,
about it.
yo, imagine if he look over at Wilder. Hey, Wilder. It's gonna be all right, bro.
Is
Shout
their
out to.
contract void?
I think it is, bro, because I think it was contingent upon them coming through their next fights.
If it was in the contract,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe it wasn't, but you can't do it now. It doesn't. It doesn't have the same luster anymore, bro. Bro, I don't even want Mercy. I don't even want to see Wilder box, bro. Only thing that's waiting for you is an even more embarrassing ass whooping. I've seen enough. You
And
need to
can I
go.
say this? Can I say this? Yeah. Joshua, do not give him that bag. Let him go back in the queue. If you want to fight for eliminators, you go work your flipping ass off. Go fight Ruiz, Miller, clean up. I mean, Jared Anderson. After that, because you know something, he ripped off the fans. Yeah, he ripped up because he weren't going to fight this year. That lazy bastard. Eddie Hearn offered to put Ruiz and Wilder on the zone, and he didn't. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. He didn't want the fight, right? But when he saw that money from Saudi, all of a sudden you got on that plane and went over there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like the whole thing. A lot of people are bringing up, oh, that he got old, inactivity. Those are not excuses. Joseph got knocked the fuck out last year
Oh,
in
yeah,
September. What's the first thing he did in January? He scheduled a fight. Then he
yeah,
scheduled another fight. Then he scheduled another fight. That's how you do that. If you want to sit on your fucking hands all year recording trash ass albums, that's your own ass, bro. That's your fault. Nobody told you to be doing mixtapes. You supposed to be getting ready to fight. So when they
yeah.
called your ass to go to Saudi, you wasn't ready. And it's not an excuse. You had a whole year to find someone, anyone. It could have been anybody. It didn't have to be a big fight. But that's the problem. You got a mentality to where you think every time you get out there, it has to be a big one. And Wilder's not going to be the only one that ends up fucked up from that. What I see is it's a lot of young fighters that are going to end up fucked up from that. Y'all really don't be wanting to work. Like, y'all think that every time y'all get out there, got to be a big one. Nah, it can't be that way all the
Listen,
time.
he needs to retire, right? His legs are so bad right now that you can see, like like the Jamaicans say, "Kum, his knees are like rolling out of his feet, and when he's gonna punch, you can see his legs shaking before he's punching. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
It's
seriously,
them like them, they look emaciated.
yeah.
yo, dog, his legs look like cinnamon sticks, B. That's his shit. Look, it
They legit looked photoshopped last night. I didn't actually believe that was really his legs. I thought they looked skinnier than usual. They look
you ever
photoshopped.
you ever seen Vanilla Bean in the shit? The Vanilla Bean, the little brown stump. That's what
Yeah.
his legs look like. I'm like, yo, dog, look, I've had my fun. I have had my fun, and I'm gonna trash his fans for the next week or so. But I've had my fun, and I think, yeah, you need to go, bro, because there's nothing waiting for you but embarrassment. It's really.
And can I say this? Yeah, this is the worst year for American heavyweights. For like Jared Anderson, he pitched a horrible one against
That was
against
Martin.
yeah, it didn't look good at all. And like Miller went down and Wilder went down. Horrible. They really got to refocus their shit, man. Like,
They're
work.
hanging their hopes on Torres Jr. at this point.
And
Yeah,
Torres,
like Richard might be
he's
the
a
hope.
I mean, he might look. Torres might be able to make a little splash or whatever. I'm not gonna say nothing bad because he's entertaining to watch. Even though I see that the way you fight, you could get yourself knocked out. But we'll see. Hope for the best. The thing is that it goes back to what people usually say that the American big man, well, the American big man is playing football. That's what the
Yeah.
American big man's doing. Playing football. He's in the NFL. So you're not going to see a cluster of 6'6" and 6'7" American homegrown guys that are fighting. Maybe if you get some guys that can't make it, then you get a couple Gerald Washingtons. But Gerald Washington wasn't a world beater. Remember, he used to play football. But I think
Yeah.
he had an injury or some shit and he had to drop out. But it's just, like I just what it irritates me about all of this is that buzz that Wilder had from 20, and I'm gonna say 2018 because that's really when shit hit the fan. 2018 till now, Crawford should have had that. But you clown ass motherfuckers in the American market always get behind the wrong fighters. Get behind Wilder, who's blocking undisputed. You get behind Javante, who doesn't want to fight anybody. You get behind Spence, who's a raging alcoholic. Like, what the fuck is wrong with a lot of y'all? Like, what's the matter with a lot of y'all?
Don't forget there was behind Broner as well.
Another fucking train wreck. It's like the more issues the guy has, the more they like him. Never mind if he can box.
Yeah,
As long as he's a
Charlos as well.
long as he's a fucking train wreck outside of the ring. Oh, we love him, bro. We love him. Shout out to Drew. What's next for Joseph Parkier? I would say I could go for Parker versus Zang. I don't really like Parker's chances in that fight, but I could go for that. I could go for Parker versus Kabayel. That'd be an
Or,
interesting fight.
or Dubois.
Mm, or Dubois. That'll be an interesting fight. That'll be interesting because I think Dubois is a lot stronger than he is. He is a lot stronger, but Joseph has a pesky way of fighting. I don't want to say nothing bad, nothing good. It's just pesky. He has a pesky way of fighting. Because I'm like, yo, the shots could have been more accurate yesterday if he didn't overshoot the distance. That's basically what he was doing, overshooting the distance, punching from the outside, coming in when he doesn't have the length to do that. But yeah, it makes for a good fight. Makes for a good fight. JP says, does Heyman take Wilder back? And if so, for what? No, he doesn't have the money. No, he's not gonna take him back. To do what? To stage what fights? Shout out to Drew. LOL. Jules Espinoza has some balls to give Turkey Al Sheikh pointers on on growing boxing and catering to a US TV audience. Yeah, like that. That was Stefan Espinoza's whole angle in that tweet, basically. That it should have been catering to a US audience. For what, bro? The US audience didn't give a fuck about your programming, bro. You think they give a fuck about his? Mind your fucking business, bro. Type that resume up, bro. Type that resume up. You gotta get on the job search, bro. You go on Indeed, add a new picture. You know what I'm saying? Type in your hobbies, bro.
Yeah.
Jules, I just want to say it's officially Christmas Day over here now. So yeah, official Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry
Merry
Christmas
Christmas.
to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Any other languages you speak and any other skills you have, type that shit into the shit. All right? That's what you need to focus on, Stefan. Don't worry about what Turkey doing.
What is it?
He
You
just
got
wants a job.
Job Corps, yeah? You need to go Job Corps over.
You niggas go to Job Corps. Go learn how to fix air conditioners. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here, B. Shout
Although
out to
speaking of
Drew.
that, that was
Okay.
a real bad night at the office for Salita, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. But it's bad. It depends on how you look at it. Otto was never going to be a champion. I don't say that to be mean, but there was always a limited ceiling on how far he could go. So long as he's still useful and serviceable, which he is, that he's been in there with AJ, he's been in there with Fury, he's a name for another fighter that you might be able to use for another fighter. Like, well, I could go for Jared Anderson versus Otto Valine. Yeah, go for that. Go for that.
Yeah, I'll go
Over
for that. I'll go for
right,
that.
right. Richard Torres versus Otto Valine. Yeah, I go for that. Or Otto Valine versus Daniel Dubois. Yeah, I could watch it. Like, yeah, I can see that. Or Otto Valine versus Joe Joyce. So it doesn't have to be bad. It all depends on how you look at it. That here you have a guy, he can fight, he's serviceable. Maybe he's not a champion, right? But you can use him for shit. And it's two losses to Fury and AJ. There's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. You just don't talk shit. That's where you fucked up at. You talking shit. Stop talking shit. Yeah, I don't think AJ has it anymore. Yeah, I think his time is ending. Yeah, all right, motherfucker. See how that theory worked out.
Yep. AJ's scared. AJ's scared.
And the funny shit is that AJ is not even old for a heavyweight. Like, nah, he's in his mid-30s. That's not old for a heavyweight. It's different with the little guys like flyweights and super flyweights and guys that they got to be quick all the time. They got to have speed, reflexes. the little guys, yeah, 35 might be old. Before heavyweight, yeah, it's not old at all, bro. Shit, motherfucker be in his prime at that age, and it's only getting better because I know after he fight Hergovic may be his next fight in March, which is probably why Hergovic took it so easy. Like, bro, for fighting Mark Demori, why are you even fighting? Boy, you know,
Oh, that was
hey,
a
I ain't
joke.
right, like, dog, you fight Mark Demori, bro. You rabbit punching Mark Demori, because the worst shit is, yo, you was dead ass rabbit punching him though, like you literally were when
Yeah,
he was slumped over. You was like that. You can't hit nothing but the back of his head if you doing that shit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he
Remember
does it
that?
every fight and never gets pulled up on it. It's disgraceful.
Yeah, he
Exactly.
got away with that against Dempsey, didn't he? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And even all the European and Eastern European cab drivers he was fighting, he does it to them as well. Every fight without fail. He did it to Zhang a couple times as well.
I don't think he's gonna be able to do that to AJ. I'll just say that much. Not just because of the ref, because the ref ain't gonna allow that shit, but because you're gonna get met with a jab in your mouth. That's what's gonna happen. You slowish. Like Hergovic, look, I tried, bro. I tried to believe. I don't believe this dude. Like, nah, son, you ass. You suck. You didn't beat Zang, and you suck.
Yeah.
He was asked about fighting Jared Anderson yesterday, wasn't
Yeah, and I mean, like, with to his to his credit, Jared ain't exactly you shouldn't have to go through all that for Charles Martin. If
he? No.
all
But
for
I
all the
never
hype,
asked for it.
I never asked for this, Roy. It's so much pressure.
He's still young though. See, the thing with Jared, he's still very young. Like Ali, like who floored him like early I can't forget.
Sonny Banks.
Yeah, that's it. Banks, Sonny Banks floored him. Henry Cooper floored him. You know, when he was very young. So he's got like next year is going to be pivotal. Like look at Daniel. Daniel like you have to crack a
Oh
few
yeah, you're right.
eggs to make a few shells, man, to make the omelet, man. And
No, you
Daniel should
absolutely
be
right that
invigorated.
I shouldn't write him. I shouldn't. It's funny because it's like, yo, why you crying, bro? Like it's all good, B, but you right that it was easy and it was easy to count Daniel out. I didn't think Daniel was gonna win yesterday, but he pulled that motherfucking shit out. I don't know if
Yeah,
bitch gave
because he got the girlfriend now. She must have done something to him.
yeah, like she must
She
gave him
turned him
some
from
pussy.
Pinocchio to Yu-Gi-Oh, boy. Like
Hey,
he's
listen,
got the power now.
She
yeah,
gave him a little slice of pussy, like little slice of Christmas pussy, and that changed him. Like,
She
oh,
told him,
okay.
you get this victory, you
though,
get
like
some more when you come home.
when
He was
you're a
ready
young
to go.
dude, and like you want that banana, you say, yeah, she's gonna give me it good if I knock this dude out. You know what I'm saying? So you're
Can't
throwing
lose in
the
front of
hands.
the
You're
oh, yeah, like,
throwing
so
the
you like
hands.
yeah. Can't lose in front of the joint. Like she gave me a little slice of pussy, little slice, little Sunday slice, and he feeling different now. Like I ain't gonna front though. That shit at the press conference is funny as shit. Every daddy has a baby, and I'm gonna spank you like you're my I was like, yo, Danny, shut the fuck up, bro. But God
Oh,
bless
good.
that kid. God
He's been
bless him because he
rehearsing
did
that
his
for a
thing.
month.
He
Right?
brought free writtens to the freestyle battle, Jules. Free writtens to the freestyle battle and felt so happy with himself afterwards.
Yo, he was happy as shit. He said that shit. Like he looked. but, but God bless that kid because look, boxing needs more stories like that and more guys like Daniel, right? That yeah, people said shit. They said all the negative shit. I'm not this. I'm not different. I said negative shit. I thought he was gonna lose yesterday, and he didn't. That's what you got to get it on. You know what I mean? Get it on. You know what I mean? You don't know. You might win. Get it on. Whereas the attitude on this side of the Atlantic Ocean is everything has to be so fucking careful. You gotta be careful out here, yo. Like motherfuckers scared to death to lose and they don't end up going nowhere. Cause
Well, now we know why
Frankie,
Wilder never travelled.
right, right. Frankie Sanchez, you turned down. I mean
Oh,
Frankie Sanchez, Frank Martin, you turned down over $1 million, bro. What are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
What are you
They
gonna
don't
do?
even have a
Crazy.
broadcast deal right now.
What are you gonna do? You about to get $1 million, Frank? Or you gonna take more Instagram pictures, right? Because that's better. You know what I'm saying? You can't
don't
make
they
this
have
shit up,
Amazon?
bro.
I think he
They're
signed up
with
with
Amazon.
Amazon.
No, they're with Amazon. They are with Amazon, but they only have 12 to 14 fight dates. And you figure that at least 6 of them, right? Well, they're not going to be shows that Frank headlines, right? No, 2 of them are going to be Canelo fights. 2 of them are going to be Gervonta Davis fights. At least one of them might be a Benavidez fight. Another one of them might be Crawford versus Spence. So that only leaves you really with 6 more. And
It,
Frank Martin himself is not a guy that, well, we can't waste the headline. Can't have him headlining, bro.
well, here's the thing, Jules. Yeah, they're not gonna dig in their pockets to finance their cards, are they?
That's
I
and
mean,
that's
they
what we
don't
was
need
talking
to.
about
They've got
yesterday.
programming everywhere. They don't need to. Do it.
That's what we was talking about yesterday. That shout out to my man Aladdin. Yo, ain't no money from Amazon on the line. Like they not giving them a budget. They're not giving them a budget. So guarantees, where are they gonna come from, bro? That's the
There's no
dilemma.
budget.
There's no budget, fam.
Oh shit! So everything's going to be on pay per view then.
No, what I heard was sixes, at least 6 of those fights, they're going to be pay-per-views. Maybe even 7, maybe even 8. And what remains won't be pay-per-views. But that doesn't make Amazon the financier. That's just saying, well, if you could find some investors to pay for that shit, good. But we're
So that's just
just
a
the
broadcaster.
And
yeah,
they
we're
ain't
just
got the trust fund
distributing
no
that
more.
shit.
I ain't got that trust fund no more, bro. Is it Waddle? Waddle and Reed?
Waddle and Reed.
Yeah.
That shit, that titty milk dried up a long time ago. American fighters did all that talking and lost, and that's what stands out to me. That's what stands out. Shout out to Fish. Can we have a round of applause for Kabayel? Yes, we can. He exposed the little big head Russian, that looked like a Goomba from Super Mario. He exposed him.
I
Well,
was upset about that.
he whooped his ass.
He whooped his ass, boy.
I interviewed Makhmudov about 3 months ago. Great guy, funny guy, and I thought, you know what, him versus Bacoli, I want to see that. No, I don't need to.
Bacoli would light him up.
Yeah. Like
Martin would light him up.
Bacoli hit too hard for that dude. He hit too hard. I could go for Bacoli versus Zang. I don't know if they'll make it, but I could go for that. Go for that.
Like Makhmudov, man, like his leg speed was like like it was horrible, man.
I don't think he
couldn't
trained
take the body punches.
I don't think he trained. I don't think he had time to. That like I said, that card was impromptu. That was like a short notice thing they just threw together because their initial plans didn't work out. So if you think about it, Makhmudov probably didn't have a whole lot of time to train, right? He probably didn't.
Yeah.
Do you think Joshua would have knocked out Wilder had they fought last night?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Bro, can I say this? Look, I want to say this. The reason that I've always been confident that Joshua would knock out Wilder from the very beginning is Wilder loses rounds and gets hit by lesser fighters and lesser punchers than Joshua. If you're losing rounds and getting hit by a Spilka and losing rounds and getting hit by an Eric Molina, if you're losing rounds to a Gerald Washington, the difference between them and Joshua is when he lands his jab, there's power on that jab. It's going to do damage. You was able to take Gerald Washington jabbing you in the face for like 4 or 5 rounds. If it's AJ jabbing you in the face, you might not make it to the 5th one. That's always been my take. That like, yo, you get hit too much. Yeah, right hand. Yeah, counter. Bro, if this dude is hitting you with that jab from round 1 to round 4, it may not be a round 5. Because you skinny as shit. And I always thought he was chinny. Beats know that. Wilder's chinny, bro. Dude is chinny. Y'all talk about AJ chinny. Wilder always been chinny, bro. Harold Sconez, Eric Molina, Dustin Nichols. This is not new shit.
Eric Molina had him electrocuted for a little while, man. Eric didn't follow up.
So and that's, I'm talking about a Wilder. When I say these things, I'm talking about a Wilder that didn't get beat by Fury. I'm talking about 2018 vintage Wilder. Why was I so confident AJ would beat him? You get hit too fucking much. That's why. And them guys ain't got power like this kid. His jab is to me, his jab is their right hand. If he land that jab on your skinny little ass, what are you, 213? He's 250 something. On that jab with snap on it, with speed on it.
Yep.
Never mind the right. pop, 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 pop. Third for what? 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes in a round, 3-4 rounds. Pop, pop, pop. Yo, dumbass just moving around. Pop, pop. Big right hand. Pop. Like, nah, dog, you going out. And that's why I've always had him beating him. Now, the shit I seen yesterday, bro, the shit I see, that shit would be criminal to put that wild. That would, like, somebody need to go to
What?
jail if y'all put that Wilder in there with 8. Like, nah, what y'all trying to get him killed?
What about Andy Ruiz? Would he have beaten him? Do you think?
I think he would have. I think he would have. I think
I don't know. Andy has his feet ain't as quick as Joe, so it could be a little different. But
they're not as quick as Joe, but his accuracy is better. His shot selection
That's
and
good.
accuracy is better.
yeah,
It's better. That I could see Andy. Yeah, he's gonna struggle a little bit, but remember, you talking about a Wilder that's tentative, that doesn't want to let the right hand go. So Andy doesn't have as much to think about and isn't coming under as much fire while he's closing the distance. Based on what I saw yesterday, yeah, Andy would have got his ass.
I'll tell you one thing though. If he does return to the ring, I know he's not going to be training him.
Bruh. I said that, like, yo, that shit with Malik, that's not for real, B. That's your man. That's just your man, B. Like, that's not your trainer that's gonna whoop your ass and whoop you into shape and tell you what the fuck it is. That's your man, B. That dude, that's your man. Like, yeah, it's not the same dichotomy. And I don't want to say nothing bad about Malik because I don't think Malik is a bad person or anything like that. But no, you can't. That's like having a boss as your a friend as your boss. Like, nah, yeah, this shit is not. This power structure is not gonna work. Like, it's not
Malik
gonna
can't
work.
tell Wilder what to do. You know what I mean?
No, Wilder knocked him out.
Yeah, right. yeah.
The fuck you gonna learn how to do some shit from a motherfucker you knocked out? Think about how asinine that is.
Yeah.
I knocked this motherfucker out. Now he trains me. To do what?
Yeah,
Get
that only
knocked out?
works in Rocky films.
The only person that arrangement is benefiting is Malik because he looks in great shape now. He was getting really heavy.
He getting
was
pornos.
in
He
great
doing
shape.
pornos with the missus. Got big old
Yeah.
breasts. Sucking some titties. Smoking cigars. He's making off like a fucking bandit.
Right.
Hey, who's the worst fighter between Wilder and Okoli? Who's the worst fighter?
I would still say Okoli. I
Yeah.
would still say Okoli. Because at least there was a time when Wilder could touch you with the straight shots. With Okoli, it's just, what is happening? What is going on, bro? Like, what are you doing? What the fuck is going on? If you need any testament to that, realize, look, I like Chris Billum Smith. I think he's fun to watch. But you lost to Chris Billum Smith. And Chris lost to Richard Reactor. Like, I think Richard is actually the best one of that stable. Richard. Right? And you lost to Chris, bro. So, you know what I'm saying? If you need a testament or a year
I mean,
mark,
to be fair though, when I actually scored that fight, I scored a lot of those rounds to Okoli, but like you can't lose 5 points. Like he got 2 point deductions and 3 knockdowns, even though 2 of those knockdowns were actually they weren't legit. To be fair, so he was a bit hard done by. I have to give him that.
bro, the shit is whose decision
The
was
thing
it?
is-
Whose
thing is-
decision was it to go to boxer
There you go.
so that you could be the face of Sky? Yo, Eddie wouldn't have had you. Eddie wouldn't have had your ass fighting in Bournemouth, bro. I'm just saying. He
I
would
know.
have gave you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You did that shit. You did that shit, bro. And then Chris did that shit to you, you motherfucker. That's fucked up, but that's those
Richard-
breaks, bro. Shout out to my man Profound Skills. Merry Xmas to you and yours, Poetic Justice, watching Parker perform. The masterful against so-called Dr. Sleep. Is there a possibility of Parker versus Ruiz too? Yeah, I think it is. Because Ruiz was there, and I don't think he was just there on leisure. I think they want to make some fights with him. I don't think he was just there on leisure.
He was so happy that Wilder got beat up, though, wasn't he?
Bro, I got the footage of Wilder getting his ass. Well, I'm sure you guys have seen it. The footage of Wilder getting his ass whooped in the corner. If you look in the bottom left, you can see Conor McGregor like this.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I was like, yo, that's Conor McGregor fucking out. Oh
Yeah, no,
shit.
you know, Andy Ruiz probably was happy because remember, he's said that they've been running this fake narrative that he was asking for 25 million. He said he's never asked for that money in his life, and the Wild are scared. So he's probably happy he lost.
Yeah, I mean, shit. It's not too late for Andy. You know, he could be somebody's pinata. Shout out to El Showcake. Happy holidays, Ring IQ. Thank you for the quality content. Best boxing channel on YouTube. Appreciate you, man.
Here's the thing. Well, while AJ went through 3 fights and a lot of criticism he had to endure, right? The likes of Wilder and Andy are sitting on their ass, bro. And their skills are deteriorating. I guarantee you that, man. You know what I mean?
No,
How
and
was
they're being celebrated for it, Beats, because they criticize AJ for how he how he eats his alphabet soup, and meanwhile you're propping up fighters that aren't even fighting.
That's
Wilder,
right. They're not even
what are
fighting.
you're not even fighting, bro. How do you get that the guy who's getting out there more often is gun shy, but the guy who isn't fighting, oh, he's not gun shy? Then what the fuck is he? Because he ain't
Exactly.
active.
Exactly. Exactly.
All that
Exactly.
shit that they usually say about this kid is, oh, you know, he's mentally weak, bro. He's not the one on psychedelic drugs. Wilder is. What the fuck do you
Right.
think ayahuasca is? That's psychedelics, B. That's hallucinogens. But AJ's the weak one, right? Mentally weak, and this motherfucker's on drugs.
Listen,
I
man.
just
Listen.
blessings, blessings.
Wilder is soft right now. Like for a start, he hangs around with his woman way too much. You're like, okay, when you're in your yard, you're with your woman, cool. But man, and another thing, right? When your woman is asking you, would you go down on your uncle or your grand or whatever she was saying and stuff like that, she's eroding your strength, bro. She's took your wind.
That's how you know that you've been around that. Like, why would you ask me that? The fuck would you ask me some shit like? And then you
Yeah,
answer. You thought about it. You thought like, what the fuck
yeah.
y'all be
And he's
doing?
thinking about it. Yeah,
Well, let me think.
yeah. And the
Ain't
LDBC are holding him up like he's some real dude. Come on, man. Them
nah,
guys are.
and that ain't nothing but a bunch of old ass like yo dog. You got a dude that's hopping his ass at the cookout, talking about eating sperm ho hos or sperm
Oh,
sandwiches or something with his grandfather, right? Said he wanted to get pregnant as soon as the
yeah.
technology comes. This your man. This shit. This the shit. This shit. Y'all. I can't even say nothing,
You
man.
ever reckon that Wilder, Matt Scott ever got the freak on?
Bro, yo.
Oh man.
Yo, dog, I don't even want to know, B.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
need to
even.
get that visual out of my head. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
don't. Cause Malik is a weird ass dude. Like, you know, it'd be good for training if we fucked at the same time. That'd be good for training. Help your reflex. Yo, he calling
Did he
himself.
he didn't land a decent punch for the whole fight.
Yeah, like he didn't do nothing, bro. He literally didn't do nothing. Like it was your typical Wilder fight because he's not really accurate. Not really. He just what I've noticed about Wilder's fights is the guy will be having so much success, the other guy, that they'll get cavalier and get careless, and then they get caught. That's a Wilder fight in a nutshell.
Every time
I
he tried to load up, Joseph put a jab in his face or went to throw himself. He punched with him every time, slipped inside, and he just had Wilder's number. It was crazy, man.
and respect to Joseph for that because you know, Joseph, look, like we give Joseph shit, or at least I do. I give him some shit sometimes. But it's dope that he did that because now I don't know how many more years Joseph wants to give to boxing. He's a very young guy. He's only 31, but it feels like he's been around forever. He's only 31 years old, and he's already been in there with Takam, with Ruiz, with Joshua, with White, with Chisora, with Joyce, with Fa, with Wilder. And it's
Huey
like, yo,
Fury.
dog, well, right, Huey. I forgot he was in there with Huey Fury. That's right. That was a terrible fight to watch, so I'm glad I forgot about it. But you gotta respect that shit. They're like, yo, now when people look back on this era, they can't rank Wilder ahead of you. There's no
No.
precedence to do it. They can't rank Wilder ahead of you. You have a your one win over I would say Ruiz, even though it was a very close fight that could have went either way, and if it were on American soil, they would have swung it to Ruiz. That win over Ruiz is better than Wilder's win over Ortiz. And if nothing else, well, you did actually beat Wilder. So when we look back on this era and we rate the fighters and the champions and the former champions, you can't rate Wilder ahead of Parker.
Nope.
There's no argument.
Would Parker have beaten Wilder when they were both champion, you think?
Yes, he could.
I believe
I agree.
so. Because he was more aggressive. What simmered him down, well, I would say, hey, shut up! My daughter. Close the fucking door!
Yeah.
If
He could have been,
I
man.
remember Wilder, I remember Parker was very aggressive at the
Yeah.
start when he was still with Kevin Barry. He used to be a body puncher, and that Parker, yeah, I could see it. But at the same time, to Wilder's credit, in the spirit of fairness, he probably would have let his hands go. So there's more of an air of spontaneity that the way
He
he
did
looked.
used to box a bit more back then.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
like
listen, look, let's not bullshitting, right? He's knocking out old dudes and stiffs, all right? The first fight when Berman Stavern was in shape, he didn't knock him out. Berman came in about 15 pounds overweight and was inactive and got floored by Derek Rossi and got a title shot. He ain't fighting nobody, bro. Let's keep it real. He ain't beating Joseph Parker. He ain't beating him.
that
He's not beating
conversation
him.
we had yesterday with that dude was like, yo, this is the delusional shit. He tried to say AJ protected. How, fam? AJ was
Yeah.
fighting for a title after 3 years as a pro. Wilder needed 7 and 32 fucking pro fights. 7 years and 32 pro fights to be ready for Stavern? Bro, you could have fed that same Stavern to fucking A. Swap out Dillian White with Bermain Stavern. AJ would have tore that motherfucker out, bro. He tore that
Listen,
motherfucker
man.
out.
Joseph was fighting like Takam and Ruiz. He was fighting tough opponents, bro. He fought
No,
AJ
he
in the
was.
unification. Yeah, he fought Dillian when Dillian was ranked pretty high. So
About that, he fought Takam before Chisora knocked him out. Before
Yeah.
Takam went in there with fucking Tony Yoka and upset him, like, yo, he fought Takam years ago. That was like 2015. He
Before
fought that.
Do we have to
motherfucker.
put
Yeah.
Dillian White above Wilder of this era? Because Dillian White's beating Parker.
I feel that if Dillian White comes back and gets 2 quality wins, there's a precedence to do it.
And he
Has
has
to be
been in there
2.
with Fury and Joshua.
Because what works against Dillian White is that he never held he was never champion, you know?
Mm.
That's kind of, and even like White's resume is better, like it's still better than his, but yeah, you know, because you weren't a champion, it would help if you get 2 more solid wins. And really, I think he's on his way back. I don't think them Saudis give a fuck about them pads. I don't give a fuck about them pads. I don't apologize for shit. I don't care about that shit. I'm not Mother Teresa. I don't care about that shit. I
Would
just
you
don't
watch
like
White versus Miller?
Huh?
Would you watch White versus Miller?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really, what I want is Joyce versus Miller, because that's pressure fighter versus pressure fighter.
man.
I would love that fight, but bro, that's World War III. Like, I would love that. I think Joe gets him because I think Joe's shots are heavier, but because Miller is he's big fucking guy. I mean, he's big fat fucking guy.
Can't
Would
be
you
on
pay
the
pay per view for that, Jules?
If they're depending on what the
$40,
card name is.
$40.
Yeah, I'll pay $40 for that.
I'll be honest with you though, yeah. That type of beating, Daniel can hit, man, and he was eating Daniel's best left hooks and the right crosses straight down the center, and like that type of beating ages you, man. He took some hellacious shots, man.
Especially at the end, beats.
Yep.
Well,
None of those actually affected him until about the 7th or the 8th round when he was just super tired. Outside of that, he was walking through him like, "Is this all you got?"
But
Yeah,
in the
but
10th,
the
man,
accumulation.
It
he
was
fought,
making
when he
me
had
laugh,
him on the ropes, them shits look damaging.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It was making me laugh when he kept sticking his tongue out of the Dubois, and I thought that was some funny shit.
Well, I mean, I ain't mad at that. Like, I really just, I don't care about the ped shit anymore, to be honest with you, because y'all know how I feel about it. It's all a fucking ruse, bro. Like, I ain't worried about that shit. Just use your peds and do what you got to do, bro. I ain't worried about that shit. We got Inoue versus Tapales. What is it on Tuesday, base? That
Yeah,
shit. We know how that shit's gonna go, bro.
Man,
So
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I got
no,
a
it's
feeling
gonna
it's
be
gonna be a
fun.
tough. He's due a tough fight, man.
No, I don't know, man. I don't know. Inouye's up for this, and that's the main thing. He's up for this. With we could look at the Donaire fight and say that, oh well, look, you went through that with Donaire, and he gave you the fight of your life, but maybe he was underestimating Donaire. I think a lot of people, myself included, underestimated Donaire going into the World Boxing Super Series because most of us didn't figure that he would make it to the end. So maybe he knew he looked past him. But once you saw the difference when once he was switched on, the fight only lasted, what was it, 2 rounds, the rematch? You
Yeah,
switching like, oh, all right, I know about your ass now, and we ain't. This ain't gonna be like that last shit. You know what I mean? And Tapala's been knocked out before. He got knocked out by Iwasa, so I think he's gonna get knocked out. I think he's gonna get knocked out, and he'll be
Pretty
pound for
decent to take in the fight though.
no, yeah. I mean, the shit is that they don't have a choice. Like all the money at or around those weights, it's Inoue, bro. Why beat around the bush? You're not going to turn Marlon into no motherfucking self-sustaining organism. You're not going to turn him into no star. So just don't dick around. Go get your ass beat and get your check. Go get your ass beat. Because I feel Sean Gibbons learned from his mistake with Casemiro. Remember that in 2020, you guided him away from the fight. You took him over to the PBC. Remember, they were supposed to fight. Things didn't work out because the Japanese investors, there was no audience, yada yada yada. But you should have kept them at the top rank side of things for when things smooth over. You didn't do that. You took him over to the PBC. He fights Duke Reagan. He fights Rigo in that awful fucking fight. And your bag, it flew away. Basically, it flew away. Basically, that wouldn't have happened if you would have stuck it out with top rank. So what I see Sean Gibbons is doing now that he didn't do before is you're not beating around the bush. You're not wasting time. You know what the money fight is. You know where the money is. Just send the motherfucker over there. Make it simple. Make your own life easier. And that's what he doing.
Yeah,
Other
man.
than that, other than that,
the one thing I will say about the Dubois and the Miller fight, which I actually respect, Dubois hit him with multiple low blows, and Miller never complained once to the referee. I had to rate him for that. Even
That
I would have been complaining because they were
that
very
is a
very low.
He did
that is
complain
a
once.
Donkin
He did complain once.
trademark.
Maybe
bro,
okay,
that's
maybe
because
I
he
missed
has
that
a
one.
protective stomach layer to protect it. Like, bro, of course his fat ass not gonna complain, bro. It's mad yards of fucking of fat right there to protect his shit, bro. Like, oh,
I know a
man.
lot of I know a lot of Brits don't want to hear this because they do like Don Charles, but that's a Don Charles trademark of his
Bunch
fighters.
of
All of his
motherfuckers.
fighters hit low repeatedly.
I
Well,
ain't mad at
Tony
that
Yoka
shit.
don't. Tony Yoka didn't like. He went out limp against it in
Yeah,
the
but
club.
he only just started with Don Beats. He ain't
Okay,
been ingratiated yet.
Yo,
that's true. That's
it's
true.
a
He
wrap
ain't
for
been
Tony, bro.
initiated
It's
into
it's
the
it's a
art of
wrap for Tony,
no
bro.
punching.
Tony lost to Riyad Murhi, bro.
Yeah, I think he retired off of that. I heard he
Yeah,
retired.
he was crying. I felt bad for him, man.
Oh,
I, I,
Tony
I,
retired?
That's what I
yeah.
heard.
I,
He's retired.
I mean, what the fuck can he do, bro? You can't beat
3 losses
Riyad
on the
Murphy.
bounce. Hmm.
Yeah.
Can fight Wilder.
Two medalists.
Oh shit, that's fucked up. What's wrong with you, Spud?
I watched Tony fight, man, and like you could just see like that's a guy who's like lost
I
all.
know beats. I know who Tony can fight.
Who's that?
Mark Demori. That'll get his confidence
Yeah.
back.
Oh my god. No,
Yeah,
he should.
yeah,
He
yeah,
should.
yeah, yeah.
And he'll
Nah,
go
he
points with him as well.
should fight Manuel Char, bro. Fuck it. If you can't beat Manuel Char, bro, you shouldn't.
I
I bro.
guarantee you, 100%, that will be down Dubois' next fight. Will
Um,
be would
Oh,
be
what for the
I could see
WBA
that.
regular
yeah,
again?
I could definitely see
100%.
that. Because it's ideal. It positions him to fight for the full title or be elevated to the full title when the time comes.
He needs to stay away from the title scene for about a year and a half. I
Bro,
think
that's the
he needs
same
to just
thing.
start building now and working on his craft
Bro, that's
if
the
he
same
wants to
thing
have
I
a
think.
long run as a champ.
But what they figure is, and at least what I figure, Usyk beats Fury. Fury probably doesn't go for the rematch. I don't think he will, personally. And when he doesn't go for the rematch, Usyk retires and relinquishes the belts. The belts get redispersed. So, if Daniel is WBA regular champion at that time, he becomes full champion. That's what they
If
figure.
if if Usyk beats Fury and becomes undisputed, so that's a two-way undisputed, would you put him pound for pound above Crawford and Inoue?
Absolutely, because it's literal. You've heard me say this before. Pound for pound is if they were all the same size as a
Yeah.
heavyweight, who would win off of skill because you don't really have Fury size. And with everybody else, Inoue, Crawford, Canelo, it's figurative. It's not literal. With Usyk, no, it's literal. This little motherfucker's at heavyweight. And it's not off of strength of arms. It's not because he's got the length or the height or the power. No, it's because he's got the fucking skill to be up there with heavyweights. That's how he's winning. So if Usyk and I would understand anybody who has Crawford, I wouldn't even argue with them, or Inoue, I wouldn't argue with them. But if Usyk pulls this off, oh yeah, you're literally the closest manifestation of a pound for pound fighter since Roy Jones Jr. Because
Yep.
Roy literally did it. Roy started out at junior middle. I know
Yep.
he beat John Ruiz, but that's not the point. This motherfucker started out at junior middle. It's
Facts.
obviously not. It's
Yep.
not fucking. It's
I remember when he
obviously
fought the
not
Hebrew
size.
Israelite. I remember when Roy fought the Hebrew Israelite at 154, early in his career. I remember.
You know what
You know
I'm
what I mean?
saying?
Is he still fighting Tommy Fury?
No, they caught that bullshit off.
Good.
Tommy Fury. Oh god. Oh god. Why don't he go away, dog? Like just go fucking do fucking. Oh, go do OnlyFans, you Ken doll. Like get the fuck out of here, bro.
He needs to go do leg day is what he needs to do.
Well,
That
he
motherfucker's built like a coke rack.
Like Johnny Bravo incarnate.
Oh no,
Johnny Bravo.
Bravo, yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, like I'm so like yo, why are you doing this, bro? Like really, you was trying to box us. How old is Roy? Like really, fam?
54, is he? Something like that.
Roy's about my age now, man.
He don't want to fight with Don Ridley though. Like nah, you don't want to do that, right?
Oh, yeah, you don't
Try,
want Riley. Riley will tear him up.
motherfucker, whoop your ass.
He's still
Yo,
trying to act like he's a light heavyweight, even though he's never made 175 his entire career.
literally, you could go on his box rec right now. Like, fam, how were you a light heavyweight? You never fought there. You never fought there, bro. You
Not even
always fought
close.
above it,
Yeah.
bro.
They've got Miller versus Makhmudov. Miller would murder Makhmudov, man.
Maybe.
He can't take the body shots, man.
He'd murder
No.
him, destroy him.
But is Miller much of a body puncher?
Mm.
No,
Right?
but he might stop.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because
Fat
remember, you
mo-
got to remember, because when those guys are taller than him, then he's got to reach up. That takes more effort. Hitting the body
but
is less effort.
but a fat motherfucker like Miller is a very big target. See what bothers Makhmudov? Movement. Well, this fat motherfucker don't move that. He move forward, but he ain't gonna be up and down this shit doing all that shit Kabayel was doing. Nah, he ain't gonna do that shit. That's a good fight. I could go. It's a lot of.
If he
It's
pushes
good.
Makhmudov on the back foot, it's over.
I could see that,
Yeah.
but I could see him getting clubbed over. I could see him getting clubbed upside the head coming in. I could see that because Makhmudov doesn't have to find him.
Yeah,
He ain't gotta go looking for
that's
him.
true. Doesn't have to find him. That's true.
Takam is smart. He figured out how to survive. He's smart. He'll move. Kabayel, smart dude. He'll move. Jarrell, you ain't got a choice but to come forward, bro. You ain't gonna be ice skating around the ring for 36 minutes.
That
with
was
your
a
fat ass.
thorough boxing lesson yesterday. Just like a pure boxing exhibition. He didn't take one hard punch, bro. Maybe one or two.
Who? Daniel.
No,
Oh, Kabayel.
Kabayel.
Well, I
Yeah, that
said
was.
I said in a couple of lives, and I said in the build-up, I think Kabayel inadvertently in 2017 when he beat Chisora, I think he made himself a hot potato because he fought him in the Monte Carlo show. Bivol was on that show,
Yeah.
and
Right.
he was styling on you know he beat him good. He beat Chisora good, and it's not like Chisora stopped fighting after that or stopped winning after that. He didn't, but he beat him good, you know. And I just think people looked at him like, nah, what the fuck I'm gonna fight him for? I might look bad. Cause he gonna be moving up and down and shit. He gonna be moving around. Like I watched a couple of his fights in Germany, and it's like, nah, that dude could fight. He not the strongest puncher, but yo, he could
Didn't
move
he?
well.
Didn't he vacate the European title when he was ordered to defend it against Joyce?
I think so, yeah, the EBU. But what
Yeah.
isn't he a two-time EBU champion?
He is now.
Yeah. Then he
Vacated.
vacated it again to go on the Saudi show. I don't think he's still got it.
Well, you know, he's got something better than that. He's got the scalp of Arslanbek Makhmudov. So he came out all right. They're gonna use him, bro. Alhamdulillah. They're gonna use his ass.
Yep.
They're gonna bring him back. You know, so I ain't mad at that. You know, the EBU title is a good year mark. It's a good belt to pick up on the way there.
Caballero versus Sanchez. Who would you have?
Oh god, that's a bad style matchup, bro.
Pure boxer, pure boxer.
Yeah,
I think Sanchez has got that, you know, the angles.
Sanchez is, bro. You needed all them rounds for Junior Fa. Get the fuck out of here, bro. You know how many rounds was that? 7?
7.
Yo, get the
But
fuck
come on,
out of
but
here,
but
bro.
he stopped him good though. Let's be
No,
honest.
bro. But Lucas Brown did that in 34 seconds.
Yeah, but let's be real though. I mean, I don't think I don't think he had the same level of fear with Lucas Brown, and it obviously backfired on him.
You know what I'm saying? They 34 seconds into the Kumite, he clubbed that motherfucker upside the head, and that was it. Yo, I remember he had junior season on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, I heard that Makhmudov broke his arm yesterday, and he's having surgery on it now in the
Oh,
Yeah,
fight. I
right
don't know
hand,
if it was
yeah.
in the fight or he got punched in the arm and it broke, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, second round.
what the fuck wrong with him, bro? Like, damn, you big as shit. Like, what happened? I don't know. I wish him the best, though. I wish him the best. You know, I just didn't imagine. That's the one fight that really surprised the shit out of me. Like, wow, dog, this thing can't take it to the body or nothing. It was a good card. It was a good card. Other than that, we have Fury versus Usyk to look forward to, y'all. I can't wait personally for this whole charade to come crashing down. I can't wait, dog.
Well, Frank Warren said that a lot of these fighters on last night's card were going to be on this show, this February one.
Mhm.
I wonder what fights are going to be on there. Maybe Wallin versus Wilder.
Maybe Beterbiev versus Bivol.
Now,
Ooh.
if that one happens, that will happen on the March card because remember, Beterbiev is fighting January. He's not going to go back in 5 weeks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Bivol can't beat Beterbiev, man.
I think he can.
He can.
Can't, man. He can't.
It's the forward momentum beats. That's the difference. I see why people feel the way they feel, but you have to factor in that Beterbiev is a guy who's going to be coming forward, walking in. He's going to walk into the punches. That's going to add something.
You're gonna have to hurt Arthur. You're gonna have to hurt him You're gonna have to hurt him.
I think he can
He
because
can be hurt.
I
And
think he
Bivol's not
can.
feather fisted. Like he's got enough of a punch for people to respect him.
Yeah. The difference maker is that
Linden out of there yesterday. Why couldn't he get
Because Lyndon was
Li-
fighting negative.
exactly Lyndon's moving away. Look, Lyndon protected himself well for the most part. There were moments where B-Ball's getting off punches, but Lyndon's blocking that shit or rolling that shit. Right? Lyndon fought to survive. Lyndon is moving away.
I mean,
Whereas Artur, not only can you catch him in between the punches, you can catch him coming forward because, well, that's what he likes to do. He likes to come forward. So between you getting your shot off and him coming into it, yeah, you can hurt him. And I don't think
Beterbiev getting old now.
So what? He's just going to box him. He's not. He's going to beat Beterbiev by not hurting him and not backing him up. No,
No, I believe he's gonna
no,
walk him into. I believe that
no.
he walks him into something that hurts him, and that's how he'll get him. Don't
He's not
forget.
going to knock Beterbiev out, man. I mean, hey, Craig Richards didn't fight negatively, and he didn't even rock Craig.
The difference is the I would say the difference for me. The reason I think he gets him is, one, Better Beef opens up more than Craig. Two, Better Beef steps into his punches more than Linden. You're setting yourself up to be countered, and you don't have Bivol's speed. That's what's going to beat you. You don't have his legs. You don't have his speed. So he's
Is
going
there
to
a
beat
big
you with
Also,
a
fighting off
punch.
Callum Smith?
wait, that's not Craig Richards has actually got his chin is better than Beterbiev's as well. He's actually got a very, very strong chin.
Yeah, he does.
He's been hit by heavyweights and not been bothered. So
Yeah,
his chin is legit.
does have a very good chin. Does have a very good chin, Craig.
I would say Better Beef probably beats 99.9% of the division, except that guy.
Who's
Not,
Craig training with now? He's
Shane McGuigan.
yeah, he's with
hmm He
Shane
just
now. He's with
yeah.
Shane.
Yeah. I got the whole inside track on that story of what was going on, why he moved over there, but
I wouldn't
it's not
mind
really
seeing
my
Craig versus the winner of Buatsi Aziz. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
what Boatsi Richards too.
Mm.
Or
Oh, right. They fought
yeah.
right. Jeez, that's how forgettable Joshua Buatsi's. I literally forgot that they fucking fought.
I'd like
Why
to
did
see him again. Once he gets like a little quick warm up fight, I'd like to see him against Rivera, Popeye
mm.
Rivera. That'd be a good fight.
Popeye's all right? Yeah, Popeye's all right. Popeye's all right. He's an interesting character. It
Wasn't he
looks like the
supposed to
light heavy.
fight Opetaia
Who?
originally?
Who?
Oh,
Rivera.
Rivera, yeah, he was. He didn't sign the contract or something.
He knew it was good for his ass.
But he's a light heavy. No, he was supposed to fight Bivol, not Opetaia. He's supposed to fight Bivol. He's a light
Okay.
heavyweight. But it didn't. They didn't get. But then Bivol said he wanted to fight for a belt, so that's why they managed to conjure up Linden because he's got the IBO. He said, like, "I just want a belt. I don't care what belt it is. Give me a belt."
I ain't mad at that.
So do you not think Callum Smith's going to has
It's a
like a much
possibility.
chance of beating Beterbiev?
No. It's a distinct. It is a distinct possibility. It's just I don't like his chances, but I would say that 60-40 to 55-45. Yeah, Callum can win that fight. He can. He
He's got
absolutely
Buddy
can.
McGirt in his corner, hasn't
Not just
Yeah.
that. It's if he uses the right strategy and walks him into a right hand, forget the catch and counter left hook because bro, that requires him to be close to you, and I don't think you want that. If you set him up for a long range right, you can get him. I think he has enough
That's what.
power to hurt Artur.
No, that's what Bivol said in the interview the other day when they asked him about that fight. Um, he said Callum Smith's a good fighter. He's got the advantages. He's got the height, but he lets people come too close. He said, and coming too close, that's what Beterbiev likes. That's what he said in the interview. So he said, I don't know if he can do it, but he has the right attributes.
Yeah, that Callum is long enough, boys, that you don't have to let this guy get close to you. You can just keep him out with the jab, psych him out with the jab, and see if you can't get a big right hand in there. Because the idea that you're gonna let him get close enough to you to where you're covered up and you're gonna try to get out a left hook, yeah, I don't like that idea, bro. He will fuck you up at that range. But you have the height and the length that you don't need to do that, bro. Use that shit. Use your height, use your length, set him up for a right. It's easier said than done. All things are, but that's better than letting him get close to you to land the big left hook. This is better than that. Callum's a good fighter. To me, he's number 3 in the division, as far as I'm concerned. I would pick him to beat Joshua Buatsi. I think him and Lyndon Arthur. I mean, him and Anthony Yard. I think that's a close fight if they ever fought.
Yeah, that would be a good fight.
Tough fight to call because Anthony's good on the inside. He's good mid range, and whereas Callum, yeah, not that good mid range.
he? How
Yeah,
much of a bad
he's
man is
good.
Jeff to fight?
Long distance.
That'd be a good fight, but Callum, does he stand a chance? If the question is, does he stand a chance? Oh yeah, he absolutely stands a chance. He could win that fight. but we'll
Who
see if
wins?
he does.
Opetaia versus Bivol, Cruiser.
Opetaia. He'll
Too
stop him.
big.
It's too big and too explosive.
He's a nasty man.
Bivol is not a big light heavyweight either.
No.
Not a
Nope.
big light heavyweight. He's very lean for light heavyweight. I think Opetaia basically wipes his ass with all of cruiserweight. Basically, the only guy I see, Noel Gavor.
Yeah, the experience and the ring generalship.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy, Noel Gavor. Tough bastard.
So do you think we'll see Bradis versus Rakpor now for that vacant belt?
No, we're gonna
No.
see Breedis versus Zerto Ramirez, which has just been ordered.
Has it?
We now know. We now
How?
know. Yeah. You didn't see the shit yesterday, Sporting?
No.
Now we know. I've been speculating. Somebody paid the IBF to give Jai a hard time because it just doesn't make sense what they're doing. You're
But
giving
why
him a hard.
Zerto?
It's
Because he's
Zerto's
number 4.
He's number 4. Yeah. He's next in the queue.
But how did he get there?
By beating Callum, by beating Smith Jr., Joe Smith Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think
Hmm.
Zerto could beat Maris Breedis. Not even this version of him. Zerto is ass cheeks, bro. Dude is ass.
Riappor's
Ass.
down at number 12, so there's no way they'd allow him to get in a next shot.
Yeah, well,
Nah,
doesn't he have to wait because he withdrew from the first bid?
Yeah, and that's why that's also why Opetaia couldn't fight in the fight with Zerdo for the vacant belt, because since he's now technically stripped vacated, he's not eligible to fight for the next match. He can petition a fight after that or get a voluntary, but he'd have to work his way back up the mandatory rankings in order to
yeah, but
get back to that spot.
Reactor is fighting Chris next, man. We know that. He about to fight Chris next and take his belt. About to whoop his
So has
ass.
the rematch clause with Okoli now expired then, I guess?
No, it's still there. The situation with the rematch clause is that basically they had to pay Lawrence Okoli a lot of money because they owed Masternak the fight, because they were the ones that got him to step aside for the Jai Opetaia one, and they promised him a title shot, so they had that in writing. And then you had Okoli, who agreed to allow that fight to happen. Richard Riappo then became the mandatory, so then they had to then agree with Okoli again that the mandatory has to take precedence, otherwise he would be able to sue on the contract. So they've given him some more money for that, and then he'll fight the winner of that fight. So they've literally got a chokehold on that belt for at least the next 9 months.
Yeah, like
Okoli has just robbed the bank, man.
Basically,
bro, I mean, yeah.
Looks like Cody gave Joseph some good sparring, man. Even though he had a bit of a belly on him. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he looked big as shit in that
yeah,
picture,
he
bro.
big, man. He looked big.
he's supposed to be coming back in February. I guess a tune-up fight. I don't know who against, but
At what weight, bro?
it's going to be cruiser. He's sticking at cruiser unless he has a fight at super cruiser in the interim.
Bridgerweight or Super Cruiser.
You should go to Super Cruiser.
Hey, did you see how much reporting Sky did on the Day of Reckoning, and they didn't have a fighter in it? Like, man, it's bad times over there, man. They covered that event more than their own boxing events, man. You know what I mean? Man.
Well, I don't want Ben to fail, right? Like, being real, I don't want Ben Shalom to fail, but he's kind of dumb.
Yeah, he's annoying. He's very annoying, man.
Like, he promises everybody a title shot. I got a fucking title shot. It's like, well, what the fuck are you doing, dog?
I bet he promised you a title shot with Tasha Jonas as well.
Like, yo, he's not a smart dude, bro. But he's not, but it's cause he's young, and that's why I'm understanding. Like, well, look, you're not gonna have the same know-how as you're not gonna have the same know-how as a Frank Warren or an Eddie Hearn, because he's a young guy. I don't want him to fail, but it's like, yo, dog, like, you better come up with something. And I saw Beats' video, which was confirmation of what I thought. Yo, if this shit wasn't about low ticket sales, why did y'all move it from a 20,000 to a 5,000? That don't make no sense.
Yeah,
Wasn't it at the it was at the O2,
yeah.
Buatsi and Aziz.
Yeah,
And then y'all moved it. Where did they move the
the
shit to?
OVO in Wembley, 13,000
Yeah.
from 20 to 13.
Yeah, see, it was low. Just it was low tickets.
But they
Cause
should have
what?
moved it. They should have moved it to the copper box because what they haven't realized is London is a very different place to the rest of the UK, right? Like they've got two southeast men going to fight in northwest London. It takes 2 hours to drive
Yeah.
from southeast London to northwest. They're gonna cannibalize the ticket sales that way because half the people ain't gonna want to go again because it's a long ass journey with nowhere to park when you get there, or an hour and 10 minutes on the train. They didn't think this through because they're not. None of them are from London. They don't know the area.
Fucking nuts, bro.
Wow.
I'm not even pressed for that fight. I feel like this could be. I don't know why. I just feel like this could backfire for Buatsi. Feel like it
And
could. Like,
he's like Bawatsi, like he's an internal victim. He now Ben and Shalom's against him, and he's supporting Aziz. Oh, you know Ben's your boy. Ben's your boy. This guy. What did he
wow.
say?
Oh, didn't you see the face-off drills that they put out on
Nah, I didn't see that
the
shit.
day
What
of the
he meant?
press conference? The day of the press conference, that they are reckoning, or the arrivals. They try to put out the face-off to try and get some shine, and they got cannibalized in the. I'll send you the link in the comments.
I mean, Buatsi, mate. Even though I don't have a high opinion of him anymore, the truth is that the future of the light heavyweight division is in the UK. It is. Nobody else
Agreed.
has anybody. When you think about it, nobody else has anybody coming through for the next 3, 4 years. When you think about it, that better beef Bivol do whatever they do. Let's just say it comes down to better beef Bivol next year, right? Whatever happens, who wins, whatever. They vacate those titles, right? After that, you have Anthony Yard, you have Callum Smith, you have Joshua Buatsi, you have Dan Aziz, you have Craig Spider Richards, you have Lyndon Arthur. Future of light heavyweight is in the UK. America's got
And
nobody at light heavyweight.
Ben
Nobody.
Whitaker.
Right. Ben Whitaker. Right. So
Oh
that's what
yeah,
I see.
man.
The
Ben,
next,
he's progressing too slow, man.
he's got to stop with that showboating. I don't like that shit. Just
Yeah,
knock the
I'm
fucking
not.
guy out, bro.
I'm not sold on the showboating either.
Yeah, it's too. Like you doing that shit to some ham and egg guy, bro. Like that dude's gonna sleep in a shelter tomorrow. Like just knock the fucking guy out and go home, bro. The fuck. You now do that shit to somebody of substance, then I will say, Billy Joe Saunders wasn't doing this shit to just anybody. It was against David Lemieux and David Lemieux's neck of the woods. That's why it was dope. He was an underdog in that fight. He was the underdog going in. That's why it was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? He's styling. You styling on in developmental fights? Come on, B. Like, come on, fam.
And he's not. Is he robust enough? He like on the sick table too much, man.
We'll see how he turns out, but it definitely looks like the future of light heavyweight for the next at least 2 to 3 years. It's in the UK. Because
Until
that's
David Morrell decides to go up there.
oh yeah, then I would agree with that. Then I would and I'm glad you brought that up because we might start to see guys at 168 go up there after Dimitri and Artur settle up with each other and whatever happens and those belts get redistributed, then we might start to see guys go up there. Not just Morel, but maybe Mabili too. You never know. Maybe Gongora. You never know. I
I
think
still need
Lerone
to see
Richards.
Mobili against Lily Sajo. Did you watch the fight I told you to watch on the zone?
Which one?
The Kevin Lily Sajo fight from a few weeks back.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, you should have watched it, mate. It was 4 rounds of brutal excellence, and it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If it's still
Lerone
there, I'll send you
Richards.
the link.
Lerone Richards is at light heavyweight too, right?
No, he's at 168 still.
Yeah,
He'll probably go up. Depending on the opportunity.
I
Probably
mean,
go up.
his career just went off key, man. Like Eddie got him that fighter, is it Akhmudov, who lost to Gongora, and like he said he's not going to take. I mean, you was on the undercard of AJ who was it again? AJ versus it could have been
No, that fight was going to be on the undercard of Canelo,
yeah, it was a Canelo undercard. Okay, he was
and
on
he
the
said,
Canelo.
"No, I already beat the guy that beat him. Why do I need to? Why am I going to go and fight him for?" That's what he said.
And now that same guy he said he wouldn't fight is ranked higher than he is. He's not even
Yeah,
ranked anymore.
Can't make that shit up, dog. Like Wilder. Wilder knocks out Malik Scott just to be trained by Malik Scott. Like, so what's he gonna teach?
Oh,
Oh,
somebody thinks Sergio is going to knock out Pacheco. That's Sergio's the guy who knocked out the British guy. What's his name? The tall guy.
tall guy.
Yeah, he beat up oh man, I'm forgetting all the
Oh,
names.
Jack Cullen.
Jack Callum. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's gonna knock. He ain't gonna beat Pacheco, dog.
nah, Pacheco's the goods, bro.
no, but
Pacheco's. I already
Sergio's just
see it.
he's just violent. Him and Mobili, they're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, and Sergio is kind of aggressive though.
I like Mobility, man. Mobility will fuck your ass up. We ain't here to box. I'm here to fuck you up, and you here to get fucked up. We ain't here to box. My
Hey,
thing.
what do you think
That's
would
why I
happen
need to
if
see Sergio versus Mobili.
Say it again, Sporting.
what do you think would happen if Opetaia went up to heavyweight? How'd he get on with Wilder?
Well, I mean, Wilder's not a good example of anything, to be honest. Wilder's cannon fodder at this point for any ambitious fighter with a pulse. He is though. He's cannon fodder. He can't hold them off. He can't hold them back. He doesn't. You can't even say he has the right hand anymore. No, you don't even have that.
2
He
rounds of
looks.
solid pressure and he's beaten.
Yeah, like he look. Honestly, like I ain't fucked up. I really hate his fans, but he looked like a skinny little old man yesterday.
Was he
Yeah,
213, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like just go dream about your grandfather and I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't want to be fucked up, bro. But go go do something, bro.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, crazy man. Yeah. I
yeah,
think.
like
You think he returned to the ring? See, because he got a nice bag. Listen. Once he's got that bag, he's got other interests. He's got the bag. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He'll
but I
return
mean,
if money runs
what
out.
fight makes sense, Beats? What for him behind that performance? What fight would you put him in? Like I can't even think of like what is there for Wilder to do?
He could probably do that bridgerweight against that WBC champion, that Polish guy.
No,
Yeah, maybe that.
Rosansky's got the level changes on him, and he's aggressive. Wilder don't want
And
that.
yeah, that's not even a joke either. I would pick Rosansky to knock him out. That's not even a
Really?
joke. I would pick absolutely. That he's a big Polish guy with fists, bro. Just a big old round Polish guy with fists, bro. If he don't do nothing else, he's gonna punch you. And if you're not around, he'll punch himself. Like, nah, dog. That dude is all wrong. That dude is all wrong for Wilder, bro. Like, nah, dog. You know what they
He'd
should
go
get
around and
Wilder
punch
to do?
himself.
Wilder should perform at the fight. He should perform one of the songs from his album. They should pay him to do that. Like, nah, dog. Like a part of me feels a little bit bad because I know it got to be hard for him. I'm human. Like I'm like, bro, it got to be hard for him to be looking like that after
Man, I
people,
don't
they.
feel sorry for that dude,
Hmm.
man. I don't feel sorry for him. He claimed
No.
everybody's ducking him, man. His envy for AJ. Man, I don't feel sorry for him. Dog.
His fans irritate me more than he does. His fans irritate me more than he does. Them, oh my god, I'm gonna
Yeah.
enjoy the next 2-3 weeks.
You know what
I'm
they're
gonna,
saying? Like they're saying that AJ don't want to fight him now because he's lost, and they're trying to say that AJ set him up. Dude, AJ had the fight. They're still trying to say AJ ducking. The fight was signed. It was
well,
signed.
look, I'm gonna say this. I don't argue with them very much because there's not that many of them left. And if you're paying attention, the content creators that used to prop him up, their metrics are down. They're already starting to gravitate towards other subject matter for content. That entire toxic faction of fans is probably going to die out in about a year, maybe two. because there's not enough there to make content about on a regular basis. There's not enough there. Spence got his ass whooped. Wilder's finished. Uh, Thurman, what? Unless you want to make videos about Danny Garcia's mixtape, like, what do you have besides Javante Davis? What do you have? Because we know you don't like top ranked fighters that much. We know you don't like matchroom fighters all that much. And just outside of that cluster, well, you don't really talk about UK boxing or Russian boxing or other, just Australian, other boxing in other places. There's not enough there for that faction to keep making content about.
Yeah.
It's all about Devin Haney now, though, isn't it?
I mean, not to everybody. You know, that could be something that keeps a couple of channels afloat for a while. The whole Devin and Gervonta going back and forth. But I don't know because well, they're not actually. It doesn't look like they're gonna fight. And if they don't, then how many videos about that can you make? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, but they'll milk it for every cent that they could possibly get.
Yeah, yeah. It's just is there a week's worth of videos or a month's worth? I don't really see that. I don't really
No,
see
but they'll
that. And
do like what they did with Crawford and Spence. They'll pick a side
yeah,
and then
try
drag it
to
out for 2 years.
try to polarize it and all that shit. Don't let Javante lose though. Oh my
Oh,
god, if he loses, bro. Oh my god.
that's
If he
PBC
lo-
suicide.
bro, if he loses his next fight, it is literally it's officially over. It's over. It's all the way over.
That's why Tank will never fight anybody good.
Exactly. That's why I don't expect him to. I expect that when he loses, it'll be to someone he's supposed to be able to beat. When he loses, it won't be Shakur, it won't be Devin. No, no, no. It'll be somebody he's supposed to be able to beat. And he'll take his eyes off the ball for a second and he'll get knocked out because one thing about punchers, when they get knocked out, they really get knocked out.
That's true.
Really get like violent. Like that's what I see for him. You know, he had the whole thing, the insurance fraud shit. The more I think about it, the more it looks like insurance fraud. It's smart. Buy the property, pay somebody to burn it down, collect on the insurance money, use the money to renovate the property, pays for itself. Pays for itself.
Yeah. But
Real
man,
smart.
it looks like a tough start for them because it don't seem they can pay Tank. Like Jamel, can they broadcast Jamel's fights after that? I don't think they can, man.
I don't think they can, but I don't think he was going to come back in a jiffy anyway. I figured he'll be gone for a year, spending the Canelo money that he made. He'll be gone. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back till late next year, you know, if he comes back. And he'll come back at middleweight, not junior middle. So he wasn't a big part of their bottom line after that. You know, they used him for what they could use him for. Maybe they'll make a fight between him and Carlos Adames.
Sponsors ain't gonna do what Amazon Prime are gonna let people fight on the network like with audios like that with this Me Too era. He's done, bruh. He's
If
done.
he if he the reason he's not done is because he's not popular. It's because he's a nobody. He's practically a nobody. Practically. Now, if he were popular, then yeah, you'd be in trouble saying shit like that. But the truth is, nah, you're not really nobody. And the people that do know of you, most of them are laughing at you. Cameron was laughing at you. Everybody was laughing at your ass. The ones that most that know of him. Like, yo, you talk all that shit for mad long, for mad years. So you could just not fight Canelo? You're not gonna engage him? You're not gonna all that shit? All that yeah,
Yeah,
all right, bro.
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out. Like, come on, B. Come on, B. And that's the ones that do know of him. If he had any stature, then that would actually amplify how egregious what he said was. But he doesn't actually have any stature. You don't. You're not popular, and you're not even well liked. The ones that did like you stopped liking you when they saw, yo. So you just came here to survive? Just here for a check? That's it?
Oh
Oh,
yeah. That was a horrible performance, man.
that's what I'm saying. That if he had stature, that audio, yo, it would have made it a lot worse. But he doesn't actually have any stature. Not that many people know you. The ones that do, not that many of them like you. So you, you know, it's just a lot of irreprehensible shit over there. A lot of, you know, degenerate behavior, degenerate shit.
Can you see
No other way
Tim
to
Zoo
put it.
beating him?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think Rachel done there asked for a link.
Got you.
Man, like he sounded so stupid. He
Well,
sounded
he
so
sounded like a child, bro. He
yeah,
sounded like
man.
he sounded like a 16-year-old. She thinks she tough, so I popped her in the face. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
They're very
You,
immature in it. They're both very immature, man. Like
it's
school
just a
children.
lot of immature. I feel like the good apples over there was probably Sean Porter. You know, Sean Porter's a good apple. He's a good guy. Everybody, we got Rachel Donaire in the
Badu
building.
Jack,
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening, Rachel?
Badu Jack, Sean Porter, even
That's the
Keith
right.
Thurman. Even Keith Thurman ain't getting
I
on
mean, I
shit.
don't really think Keith Thurman is a bad apple. I just think
He's annoying.
he's bad produce. You know, he's like an avocado. You forgot about it. You left it on the breakfast bar, and then you look like, oh shit,
Not
and
a
it's kind of
bad
bad.
apple. It's not a rotten. That's a fucking funny shit for him to say. It's like an avocado. We just forget about it.
Yeah, like no, because that
Or like a
happens to me,
tomato.
bro.
It's like,
I
you know what?
always
You're looking for a fruit and you just
Banana.
like a banana.
on my pico
Let's
de
do the
gallo.
banana
When I
though.
go to the store, I'll buy pico de gallo to put in my cheese eggs, and I'll put it in the back of the fridge, and then I'll forget that it was there, and then oh shit, it went bad. You know what I mean? It's
Hey,
because the way. Go ahead.
like at the end of the day, like I mean, like if to put like Jesus, like that whole card into perspective, it's there's first of all there's a little bit of hype over under certain people, and then they got exposed, right? And I think like too much that we're just like writing off fighters. Like here's the thing, like we as American like fans, we only see what they have against a lot of the Americans, and then we don't see what they have against um, the world, really. And when they're just writing them off into the sunset, like, oh well, like he was never anything. It's like, dude, he was something to everyone in the American public. I'm sorry, I'm talking about Wilder. Um, Everyone's just writing him off. Like
I would
it's weird to me.
I would say it's because it's not. I would say this. This is where my resentment, because I have to admit that yeah, I'm one of the people that says that, but I say that because fighters like Klitschko that were accomplished, very accomplished for a very long time, fighters like Povetkin, who was an Olympic gold medalist and very skilled, and he fought the somebodies of his era all the way into this one. And a fighter like Pulev, he was an Olympian, and he fought the somebodies from that old Klitschko era into the one that we're in now. The reason that I give Wilder all that stick is because, well, they think you're better than them without you having actually fought them. And I noticed that, well, you didn't, they'll criticize AJ, they'll criticize Klitschko, they'll criticize Parker, they'll criticize everybody. But yo, look at this guy. Look at this guy. You want me, like, not you per se, but his biggest supporters, you want me to believe all this stuff about this guy, but look, it's not on paper, fam. It's not on paper, bro. It's not on paper. And what I see is you were guided away from those fights. It's very easy to see because where Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury were like 13-0 and 12-0 fighting each other, right? In domestic battles to decide, who's better, who was Wilder fighting. Wilder wasn't just some Joe Blow club fighter. You were an Olympian, bro. You bronze, right?
Yep.
Now, a
Yep.
fighter like AJ, oh, well, because he was an Olympian, he was fast tracked. The same as a Lomachenko, the same as a Katie Taylor, the same as a Clarissa Shields, so on and so forth. That, the Olympians usually they move them quick because you got that amateur pedigree. Well, Wilder, you were in developmental fights for 7 years and 32 fights. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. So
Right, right. How you doing, brother? Merry Christmas,
I
man.
was Hi, what's going on, Nonito? How you doing? Merry Christmas to you and yours.
I'm great, brother. For me though, as a fighter, and everybody who's been watching fighters or boxing, is we give a lot of expectation, right? And we expect a lot of Olympians to be this way and that way. And sometimes style makes fight, right? And sometimes it comes down to mentality. Like the last fight, I shouldn't have lost that fight, but I did, right? There's a lot of expectation that we come about, that we want our fighters, or what we think in all aspect of our prediction, to come into fruition. And that's why we sometimes we feel resentment, we feel frustrated, or some type of way, is because we are expecting something. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way, because sometimes the style, the fight, and the person just, or the mentality of a person, isn't just there, and sometimes it just goes beyond that, and we don't know what went beyond all that stuff. But because we as fighters, and as fans, we look at it as in our perspective, in our glasses, that this is, it should have been this way, and then they didn't perform the way we want them to be. And so, we have all of that to say. But you know I- sometimes things go along with it, and for me, as a fighter, when I don't have somebody that I don't think is worthy to be in the ring with me, that's when I fall. And
Well,
that's what happened in the last fight, for me at least.
well,
What?
Jules, like my question is like following the amateurs and the professionals. Do you feel like the amateurs has a certain expectation, right? Like you're racking up points and all those things, and seeing that type of the pedigree in the amateurs, do you feel like that always actually transitions
No,
into the professionals?
no. The trend that I've been seeing is that a lot of fighters, male and female, that made very good amateurs, good 3 round fighters, they don't have the fortitude for 12 rounds. Tony Yoka, who we were talking about earlier, he's an Olympic gold medalist as an amateur. For three
Aubrey
rounds, he's
Harrison.
a right. For 3 rounds, he was a very good fighter. But in the pros, yeah, this just it didn't work out. And with his wife, you look at his ex-wife now, Estelle Mosley. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, you was a gold medalist in the amateurs. In the pros, a lot of these girls will whoop your ass up and down. They will whoop your ass. All right. So, Carolyn Dubois is an example of how some amateurs have a better style for the pros than the
Mhm.
amateurs. Because
Yep.
Carolyn is she'll mess somebody up out here, right? But she didn't win the gold. She didn't win the gold. Or that English girl, Lauren Price. Lauren Price won the gold in the amateurs. In the pros, we'll give her some time to see how she turns out. Her wife, however, she didn't win the gold, but I think she's going to be a goddamn good champion in the pros. So, in a nutshell, not every good amateur makes a great professional. No, it doesn't always translate. As
No,
far as
100%. 100%, brother. Like with me, I always lost in amateurs. You know what I'm saying? Like all these guys that I've beaten in that has beaten me in the amateurs, I knocked them out in the professionals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I beat Raul, but I'm saying, like, still, like, there's a big difference between some guys in the amateurs who came, and who has great names, but then in the professional they just don't make it that way, because their styles are not suitable for professional. For me, I've always fought professionally, style wise. And the guys that had beaten me in the amateurs, I ended up knocking out in the professional levels. You know what I'm saying? So stuff like that can happen, because of the style and all that stuff. But I 100% agree with that.
yeah, like if you look at, and I brought this up before, that if you look at a fighter like Badu Jack might need 2 to 3 rounds to feel the guy out, and then he'll start to open up and go in and get off his punches. But he'll need about 2 to 3 rounds before that happens. Well, for an amateur, oh, that's no good, dog. Like, you can't have a style like that in the amateurs, you'll lose. But in the pros, you can, because you got a whole 12 rounds to work it out. So yeah, not every Not every great amateur makes a great professional. That's why I have my skepticism about Andy Cruz. He was a great amateur, and that's all well and good, but we'll see how he makes out in the pros. Because it's different, fam. You got 12 rounds. Your arm's gonna get hit. You're gonna get tired. It's gonna be hard, and it's not a 3 round fight. You might be
Right.
great in three
Right.
rounds. You might be
Exactly.
great.
So the thing too different was in 2000 where I came from. I'm an old ass motherfucker, man. So in 2000 it was point system. We didn't have the judge, and all of that stuff. It was point. It was they were clicking punches that they thought scored. And sometimes it's different. Between how your eyes rather than your fingers clicks and your eyes deciding the whole round. So in my time in 2000, they weren't really that great. The Olympians didn't really do too well, but the guys behind it, like me, Caleb Pavlik, and all these other guys, that even um, Robert Guerrero, oh no, that was 2004, but we did well because of the fact that we fought professionally, while a lot of these guys that are Olympians didn't do too well because they were in point systems, the buttons and
Hmm.
the clicks, so all of that stuff transitioned to professional. And although after that they started to use point system and all that, especially now, back in the days in the 80s where they had no headgear, where they had point system, and that's when the people that became uh Olympians or gold medalists became world champions. Nowadays, or my days in 2000, even if you became an Olympian, it didn't guarantee that you were going to become a world champion.
That's where it is now because there was a French guy in the light heavyweight division. I think he either won silver or bronze, whatever it was, right? Mathieu Bauderlique of France. Yeah, you did whatever you did in the amateurs, dog. What you did in the pros was get knocked the fuck out. That's 2 times, right? And I look at a lot of the amateurs that are coming through now, the decorated ones. Usually it's the guys more than the girls. Girls tend to have a little bit more success, but still, it's not the way that it was. If a guy had a gold medal way back when, like the 90s and the 80s, if a guy had a gold medal, it was a good chance he'd become a champion. And not just a champion, but more than that. Like, remember George Foreman, gold medalist. Oscar De La Hoya, gold medalist. Guy had a gold medal. He had a good idea that as a pro, he's going to do all right. Now, yeah, that medal don't mean what it meant. It just something changed because it don't be like that no more. It just don't.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, with the amateur system, I've got like a lot of friends who have now turned pro because in the amateur system, you don't get the opportunities that maybe you once did. So, like years ago, back in 2000 and of course in the 90s, you would earn your way to the Olympics. Nowadays, you get chosen for the Olympics based on if they like you. It's got nothing to do with the fact of how you perform in the ring. It's whether or not they like you.
Mm. Something about the grooming process must have changed because now it just becomes more and more obvious that not every standout amateur makes a great professional, and some just they're not going to be good professionals. Some careers, some amateurs that were really great amateurs, their careers end abruptly as professionals. Now, to the Wilder thing, I would say that most of the resentment that I have is towards the fans that diminish all the other fighters and prop that one up. That's my whole thing. That I'm like, nah, dog, you can't shit on everybody else, and then we get rose tinted lenses for this guy. Like, nah, you lost to Parker, right? When AJ beat Parker, y'all didn't give him his props. Y'all didn't respect him. Y'all didn't respect that he beat an unbeaten champion, right? Karma, kismet, is why that Parker just beat Wilder over 12 rounds and made it look easy, right? It's easy to count out guys when you don't figure that you're going to have to fight them, right? It's easy to put them down until you, and this is why the fights have to be fought because you don't know if Wilder would beat Parker. It's easy to fall in love with his power. It's easy to, oh, he knocked this, bro, you got to see the fight to know, right? And that's what stands out to me the most. That when Wilder started facing more international fighters, and it did start with Fury, it really did. You started seeing it like, nah, dog, that right hand is not what y'all say it is. So y'all, everybody knows the proverb: a good right hand to take you around the block, a good left hand to take you around the world. Right? All Wilder has is a right hand. God bless him, right? God bless him. But that's all he has. That's why he couldn't deal with this cat yesterday. And it's not because, oh, this and that. No, it's Joseph is better than a lot of people gave him credit for. That's what it is.
You
They
can just
look at it.
see that a Wilder was never ever a student of the game, because the way that he was fighting in his first half dozen fights, he still fights the same way.
He still crosses his legs when he moves lateral. Still makes the same mistakes. Leans over his lead foot. Still makes the same
Yeah, the
mistakes.
thing with Wilder is that, like, footwork wise, like, I don't, of course, whatever happened happened, and whatever, I don't even want to say it's excuses, but first of all, Wilder is set in leaning back over the top rope and trying to evade the punch. Um, his legs don't, like, they're not there to be able to try to box, and that's what he was trying to do. He was on the outside the entire time, and his legs, like, I mean, geez, like, you could see physically that there that wasn't part of the game plan. um he is trying to just rock back, like, and I say rock back because he always wants to be able to counter on the back foot. And with Parker, what he did was he didn't even freaking look, because he figured at the end of the day, you're going to be standing straight up, or you're going to rock back on the rope if I get you on the rope, and your head's going to be there because that's what you're betting on. He didn't even look. Parker was throwing bombs, just ducking his head, not even looking at the end of the day that he was going to be there. So, I mean,
He was well
does
prepared.
Wilder have a right hand? Wilder has a right hand. Can we only bet on that? And when we were watching the fight, Nonito was saying multiple times, she's like, why is he jabbing? Why is he setting up the right hand?
Yeah, I
You
would
have to
say
set it up.
this.
You can't just like
I
bet
would,
on it.
and I would say this, that I've said this a gajillion times. Wilder doesn't have much of a jab. He never really, like, there are isolated incidents where he showed more of a jab. I would say the Stavern fight, he showed the jab a lot. I think something was wrong with his right. I don't remember, but he jabbed a lot in that fight, and he jabbed a lot in the Areola fight because he had a torn bicep muscles in the right hand, so he couldn't use the right. So he's jabbing with the left. But for the most part, he never really had much of a jab. Otherwise, he would have had that to resort to. He doesn't really have much of a jab. The Gerald Washington fight was an example of that. The Gerald Washington was a football player who crossed over into boxing, and his jab was neater and tidier and more fundamental than Wilder's. But Wilder's the Olympian. He's jabbing Wilder's head off in that fight. And I think Wilder's just a fighter who got comfortable, with the perception of his power. Because the other thing is, these are heavyweights. Every single one of these guys is 200 plus pounds or whatever, right? A heavyweight, anybody can knock anybody out. So is it really that you have the mythical, magical right hand, or are you just in a division where anybody can knock anybody out, bro? Well, these guys are 200 and change. If any one of them lands clean on the other, they're gonna go out. You know, I just see the hard time that people gave other fighters in the name of Wilder, who's supposed to be God's gift, and I'm like, nah, I don't see God's gift. I see a one-handed fighter. That's all I ever saw. One-handed fighter.
But it must be frustrating for like a boxing purist knowing that Wilder, he has that amateur background. Okay, not extensive. He only had 35 fights, but you don't get into the USA squad unless you can box. So he can do it. He just doesn't do it.
Well, I mean, I think that the grooming process they put him on, those the fights that they put him in, it's like, did you put him in those fights so that he could learn? or to pad his record, because it's like you can see the grooming process with other fighters when they put you in there with a mover or a southpaw or a puncher or a boxer. Whereas with Wilder, it's like, bro, I don't, like I don't really know what they was doing with the guy. To be real, I just don't know what they was doing with it.
What
Aside
do you learn
from,
from one round? What do you learn from one round?
yeah, like if they put you in there with guys that's gonna lay down, you ain't gonna look at Berlanga. Berlanga's a good example of that shit. You fought like, what was it, like 16 guys that he knocked out, I think, in the first round or whatever it was, and that resulted in arrested development. That when he was in there with a guy that wasn't gonna lay down, oh, he ain't know what to do. He's like he's nervous and shit. Like, oh shit, this dude is not going away. So I just think, look, man, every so often the media latches onto a fighter and the fans latch onto a fighter, and their perception of that fighter is more than what it actually is. That Wilder's Wilder to me, he seems like a hype job. Sorry, I'm like I can't look at it any other way. I've seen a lot of great fighters come and go, and nah, that ain't one of them. Mm-mm, not that guy.
But Jules, like the thing is that like his whole thing was built on American boxing. Like they could have gone in anyone, outside, and then they like this, like styles make fights. So they're picking guys that Wilder and the heavyweight division is a little slim. Like everyone's like, oh well, there's
Al got a
Yeah, the mic went out.
panel. Can you hear me, or is it
yeah. We can hear you
Not
now.
not
Jules?
can hear you. Not can hear you.
Shoot, it's me. Okay.
No, no, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Al Heyman's not happy.
Al Heyman, he's hacking into the signal. I can feel.
You see, anybody with the Amazon app now, we're fucked.
He's hacking into. He's hacking into my Wi-Fi right now. Is what it is. I'll
Was
say
that
like
you or me?
that was. Listen, Rachel, that was Al Heyman trying to hack the feed, break in here. He's trying.
We can hear you now, Rachel.
I got yeah.
No, so what I just said is like at the end of the day, like styles make fights, and like the heavyweight division, like there's amazing talent, and then there's also like there's a huge gap between one and two. So we need to understand, like, so if Wilder was tested on American soil and we picked and choose, then when he goes overseas, like there's a plethora of heavyweights that we're not bringing over to the US. That's what we saw. And
Yeah,
whatever happened with him, whether it's camp or he's too happy, I've heard every excuse right now that he's too happy. He did ayahuasca. He has Malik Scott. Whatever the excuse is, at the end of the day, um, he needs to be able to adjust. And I feel like the what he leaned on is the fact that he's tall. He seemed really slim for this fight. And he was betting on, I'm going to just rock back on the fourth rope on the top and try to get that shot off. And that wasn't working. So you need to adjust on a 12-round fight.
That and he didn't fight in the last 12 months. That you're not going to have the timing to get the shot off if you haven't been fighting. So then you say, well, why wasn't Wilder fighting? He must not have wanted to. He must look. Parker got knocked the hell out last year. He got knocked out by Joe Joyce. First thing he did in January, schedule a fight. After he won, scheduled another one. And those were not big fights. Those were just maintenance fights, keep busy fights, not major fights, not big purses, just keeping the machine working. Wilder had the same 12 months to do that and do that maintenance that Joseph had. The difference is Joseph did the maintenance, Wilder didn't. So a guy who's relying on timing to get a shot off, well, that timing ain't going to be there if you ain't fought in 12 months. It's not going to be there.
But wouldn't you get the timing from sparring and that as well, though?
I don't think so because it's not the
No,
same intensity. It's not the same
yeah,
intensity.
No,
different. And
because
under
when
the
they
hot
have
lights
like
with the
they
head
have
guards and
bigger
everything.
gloves. Yeah, they have bigger gloves. They have like it's a safety. The like you should 100%. You should get your timing off of sparring. But the thing is that like because of the fact that you have the headgear and the bigger gloves, you get brave, right? So when you take those off and then you have smaller gloves, like it's different. The timing's different. Like if these guys fought, first of all, if these guys fought with smaller gloves, the timing and the intensity would be 100% different because you're feeling the punches.
Hmm.
And the
But
punch has got
but
to travel
dude,
further to the target as well because it's a slightly smaller glove.
Hmm.
mm,
With
okay, the speed
Wilder,
yes, 100, but you're feeling different. You're feeling the punches more with a smaller glove.
I would say with Wilder, it just seems like he had every intention of sitting out what remained of this year, but the Saudis offered him so much money. It's like, well, nah, I got to get this money. So he got the money, but it's like he wasn't in there ready to fight. But I don't look at that as an excuse because once again, you had the same 12 months that Parker had. You had the same 12 months, same amount of time. Parker chose to fight. You chose to make records, right? I get your money. Do what you want to do with your time. But it's just that that's what I see. That this dude was ready to fight. He came to fight, and you had your mind on other stuff, bro. Had your mind on other stuff, and I've never been. I don't make any bones about it. I've never had a high opinion of Wilder. Never had a high opinion of Wilder. I just think that at a time when the American public didn't have much in the heavyweight division, he was all the American public had. So they built him up. But that doesn't really make him what they say he is. Like, nah, like y'all trying to make him like George Foreman. He is not George Foreman. He's not Sonny Liston. He damn sure ain't Mike Tyson. I grew up in that era. This is not Mike. You know what I mean? It felt like smoke and mirrors for the simple fact that, well, we don't have a lot of heavyweights these days. This is the one that we got, so we're gonna build him up. That's how it always felt to me. It's like, yeah, that shit don't fool me, dog. Like, I can see this dude, y'all put him in there with the right people, they gonna be on his ass. He fish food. He is fish food.
Would you not think that because Parker's part of Team Fury, that Parker was cheating? He's got loaded gloves, all that shit.
He had knuckle dusters in his gloves, bro. Knuckle dusters in. He had brass knuckles in his gloves. But nah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's not like he didn't have a successful boxing career because he did. He got to be champion for a time. He made several multi-million-dollar purses for several fights, especially the last couple of years. So he definitely had a successful boxing career. Successful, like, yeah, it went well. You made money, you changed your circumstances. But as far as just all this other stuff, all that hyperbole, yeah, that was always where I drew the line to like, nah, dog. Don't compare this guy to the Ali's and the Foremans. Like, nah, B, it's
Will
not
he
the
get in the
same
hall?
thing. Say, probably
So
not
Jules,
because
do you think that he can actually like cuz what everyone's saying like of course you know what happens, right? Like what like with Wilder, they're saying like he shouldn't have had Malik Scott. So and he needs to change trainers. Do you feel like at this point in his game that if he does change trainers that he would actually change his style, or do you feel like he's set in his ways?
he's set in his
Who's that?
ways. He's 38. He's set in his ways. See, some fighters already have. Let me put it another way. It's not the age. Some fighters have a style that you can tweak. Like Kovalev, he has a style that you could tweak to focus on other aspects. Like when he was younger, he focuses on knocking you out. But remember that he does have a good amateur background, so he can pull the boxing out. He can pull the jab and the movement out when he needs to. Right? It really is specific to the fighter. Wilder is still so raw at 38 years old, so bare and barren that it's like I don't even really think Wilder has a style to be like some people have a style. You can see it. Wilder is like that's not a style. I'm gonna lose 5 rounds until I land the right hand. That's not really a style, B. That is a sheer lack of fundamentals. That's what I see that there. That's just a lack of fundamentals. And you can get in a new trainer, but the new trainer, he's not gonna make you want to fight. You have to want to fight. You have to want to fight. That's how it always is. You gotta want to be there, bro. That's he fought like a dude to me. He fought yesterday like, yo, you don't want to do this no more. But the money's too good. But you don't want to do this no more. You don't really want to do this no more.
But you
The
have to do
ring
the skipping rope. You have to do the running, which are the things that he don't do.
yeah, like you could get him a new trainer. You could get him the best trainers in the world. If he doesn't want to fight, it doesn't matter. If he doesn't want, and I didn't see a guy that wanted to fight yesterday. I just didn't get the impression about any of it. It, it was more
But he
like you're
thought he won.
But wait, why is everyone saying he doesn't want to skip rope and do rope work?
Mark Breland said that when he was with him. Mark
Oh.
Breland said that Wilder doesn't skip rope or do road work, which explains why he has poor. I've always and anybody on the panel can check me on this. I've always said Wilder has poor cardio for such a thin man, and
I've said that as well.
the reason he has poor cardio, the reason he never really had much of a work rate within a round. Why? He has poor cardio. Well, why does he have poor cardio? He doesn't do road work. He doesn't skip rope. He doesn't do anything for any of that stuff. Which is why if you force him to fight and throw some punches in a round, he starts breathing with his mouth open. He gets tired almost immediately. And it's like, well, this dude is well thin to be so tired already. Why are you so tired? Poor cardio. He relies on his right hand. He said it himself. And I guess, I took it literally. He said it. I don't need skills. I have power. Yeah, he won't always. Here we are. You could get him a new anything. You could get him a new everything. You know, it won't make a difference. In this landscape that we're in right now, the best thing he can do is retire because it'll be Parker, he won yesterday. He definitely outworked him round after round. But depending on who's opposite the ring, it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. A more accurate puncher, like a Zang. Yeah, dog. Go on vacation, bro. You know. Personally, I don't want to see him. All the air around Joshua and Wilder and that entire that's dead, man. It's dead for that. It's over for that. Yesterday was an example. You know, I don't think Wilder's heart is in it anymore. Anyway, those Fury fights probably changed him.
Yeah.
It's hard to get beat like that, man. 2 times. See, because it's kind of like he made it personal. Look, if you lose to a good fighter, that's not the end of the world. And it doesn't have to be the end of the world if you lose to a good fighter. But the way that it was built up and all this extra stuff, now it's personal. Now he cheated and he did all this stuff. It's like it do something to you, it's going to do something to you, your spirit and all of that. I mean, you had to go to ayahuasca to feel better. You had to take psychedelics to feel better. It's like you could see that, like, yeah, you don't even feel the same. A day Oladipo spoke to him in the build-up of the fight, and he asked him, "Yo, the boxing fans missed you. Did you miss us?" He said it outright. No, that kind of told me like,
He was
shit.
like
At least he's honest.
ayahuasca. Like, wait, Jules, have you done ayahuasca?
Nah, I'm not. That's not for me. That's not for me.
Ayahuasca makes you it makes you like realize like, okay, so what is really right? Like it makes you what you're supposed to what you actually believe in life is supposed to be the meaning of life. Boxing is such a short span. Is it really the meaning of life for a lot of people?
No, I mean, I think for Wilder, Wilder said what he discovered after having done it. He said that God told him the victory is his, it's not yours. That's literally what he said in the shit that I read. That's what he said. I think,
Yes, because it's not. That's what I'm saying. Like ayahuasca, like it's more so. Jeez, it's more so like a
an
release. Like
epiphany.
it.
It's an epiphany. It
Yes,
sounds like. An
Yeah,
epiphany.
it's not something that you can control. You can't control it. The more that you try to control it, the more that you actually purge. And I say purge in the literal sense of you throwing up.
Oh wow. Yeah, see, I definitely don't want to do ayahuasca.
Is that where they
Yeah,
lick the
that's
No,
wrong.
toes
because
and all that kind of shit?
the more you fight her, and I say her, but the more you fight, like trying to push your actual narrative, the more you purge. Because you're trying to fight what is natural. You're trying to go against what like they're saying is just you should just accept. So the acceptance in ayahuasca will, I don't want to say deter, but it will make you say, okay, well, whatever happens, happens.
For Wilder, if we get into if I get into what he said and what we know about the situation, that must have involved acquiescing to defeat because that's he said word for word, the victory is his, not yours. That's what I did a video on it over a week ago.
It's, oh my god, it's not defeat though. Jesus Christ, I'm waiting for No Needle to come back because it's not
Well,
defeat.
not defeat, but more along the lines of he has to accept what happened, and I think that bothered
Yeah,
him, or it changed something about him, because it's like if you let that go, you letting go of a little more than that. You may be letting go of what makes you a fighter. You may be letting go of that. He's 38 years old. He made a lot of money. He did
Rachel, you
make a
sound
lot.
like you're defending him almost. He doesn't need defending. We're not actually slating him.
Nah, I mean, I'm not, all I could say on the whole Wilder thing. I was never a fan of Wilder. I was never a believer in his power. I didn't like how easily the American media wrote off the rest of the heavyweight division to prop him up. When I always resented that. Um,
But they're
and
not media. That's the thing. They're not
no,
media.
no,
But
no,
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 but
no.
even the media
they
done
Some
act
it.
of
like
them
they are.
are. Some of
Even the
them are
media did it.
sporting. Some of them
Some talk
are.
sport did, yeah.
Well, not no no. Some people here that are in the media, talking up Wilder. It's like what they did with Otto Verlin, for example.
All right.
Teddy Atlas, Joshua doesn't have the heart for Otto Verlin. He doesn't have the heart. Bro, why are you saying that? Because of Fury? You saying that because of Fury? Well, now that Joshua done did what he did, are you gonna give him his props now? Bob Arum's been picking anybody from Pulev to Parker to beat AJ. He always picks somebody. It's like, yo, dog, like, what is going on, dog? So you just
Even
gotta
Carl
go.
Froch, like a Carl Froch, couldn't give AJ full credit. He said something was wrong with Otto Wallin.
Right. No, but honestly, and this is just kind of what I mean. That I just feel that people got so stuck on the idea that Wilder and Fury are 1 and 2 is taking them time to process. No, they weren't. 1 and 2 is actually Joshua and Usyk, which is yes, that's fuck. I've been saying the whole time. Like, bro, there's nothing Fury does in a fucking boxing ring better than Usyk. No, not nuts and bolts boxing, not fundamentals. What you are is bigger, but you're not a better boxer than that guy. And I believe when you fight him, he's gonna stop you. Oh yeah,
Jules, Jules,
yeah, yeah,
Jules, Jules.
yeah.
Okay, so No Needle explained ayahuasca to you.
I mean, the ayahuasca is just something that I guess the trigger the peace in you. You know, the moment of a vision that allows you to become peaceful. You know, it will get into your mind. It will get into moments where you'll fight your demons and you'll see your demons. You know, and sometimes it will enlighten you. So there's a lot of things depends on how the mindset is. But from what I see with Wilder and the way he was speaking, he seems to be peaceful, and that's a bad place to be when you're fighting.
No, all right. Then we agree on that. That I just feel that the process that he went through with that, right? You have to come to terms that he beat you. That's what it sounded like based on what he said. That he said God. That's how his words. God told him the victory is his being Fury, and not yours. That's what he said. So it's like I feel like him having to accept that maybe that took the fighting spirit out of him. Like, I, it is what it is. And he's a
Uh,
different. Maybe he shouldn't be. Maybe he shouldn't be fighting no more after that. Because
a hundred percent.
if he goes out there looking the way that he looked yesterday with other people, there's worse things out there than Joseph Parker. Oh yeah, and they'll hurt Wilder worse than Joseph Parker. So
Yeah.
you know, if you
I
don't
mean, the
really
thing
want to,
about it is, sometimes you get messages in life, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in ayahuasca or whatever altered state that you're in. Everybody has a different meaning and a different perspective and a different interpretation for every situation. For me, I've done it and it changed my way to be more hungry. I came to a point where I'm more hungrier now because I realize that life is meant to be joyful, but at the same time, is meant to not be wasted, right? It meant that you gotta go and whatever situation that you're in, whether it's a fight, whether it's protecting, whatever it may be. All in all, is that one thing I've learned is is this: when you are starting, you're hungry, you're fighting for a spot. When you're no longer hungry, you got to learn to protect, meaning that you have to alter your mind, not to the aggressive way of conquering, but in an aggressive way of protecting what you have, protecting your family, protecting your kids and their future. And that way, because the thing about fighting is all the mindset. Now if you are at peace, that's where you're happy with your life, but it's not going to do you any good when you're in the ring. You got to be hungry to protect, or you got to be hungry to conquer.
yeah, and I think for Wilder, I think he's kind of past that. I honestly do. Like, I think that after all of that, irrespective of the polarization of the fighter or what the fans say, the fact of the matter is he was a champion for a while. He got to make very good money. He's in his late 30s. His family's taken care of. He owns property in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Maybe he doesn't want to fight anymore. Maybe he's straight, like, I don't really want to do this anymore. But
Well,
because
that
they offered him so much money, it's like, well, how could you turn it down? They offered him a lot of money. If
right,
not for them coming in when they did, because that whole card was like impromptu. The whole card was like kind of last minute when they put it together. They just called everybody and did that. And it's
right,
like it looked like Wilder was gonna sit out the whole year. He was gonna sit out the whole year until they come in. Yo, you want to fight in Saudi? We got some money for you. You know what I mean? Maybe.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean
thing
that.
about fighters. That's the thing about fighters is a fighter never quits. When an opportunity that are in monetary value is presented, regardless if they said, you know what, I want to quit, but you give them that money, they're like, oh yeah, fuck, I'll fucking, I'll hit that, I'll fight that. That's why there's no such thing as a fighter retiring himself, but a promoter will. If they don't get no fight, the promoter. And I was talking to a promoter about this stuff on the WBA convention. It was Tutu Savala, and he always said, like, listen, a fighter will never quit. If Roberto Duran could keep fighting, he will keep fighting. That's just how fighters go. I mean, how many times you see Floyd say, I retire, and he comes back, even if it's just exhibition. You got Pacquiao that says he retired, but he comes back. And you've seen it numerous times from generations of fighters throughout times. Mike Tyson, just you name it, everybody.
Like, and like literally, like when O'Neill talks about it, like they're like, why did you go to 22, 26? It was because they kept tempting him with the money. And Nonito, like, what was it, Nishioka? He said in
It was broadcasted.
broadcasted at when he fought Nishioka, and what he's like,
After that fight, I was going to retire.
he was supposed to retire after Nishioka. What happened? Aussie. What happened? Fucking Rigondeaux. They tempt you
Good money.
Yeah,
continuously with more
and that's what I think
But
happened with Wilder. That's what I
but
think
how
happened with
addictive is
Wilder.
boxing though? As a boxer, how addictive is it to just I can't leave it? The attention, the money.
I'm gonna go
money.
use the bathroom, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Well,
Right.
it's not so much as I mean, there is a lot of temptation when it comes down to that. The all of that what you mentioned. But ultimately we do love fighting. I mean, some people don't like it afterwards talking to the guys, but behind it they still want to do it. But the temptation really comes from the monetary value, the fame, what's the word, relativity, and just being known and just being seen, and importance and all that stuff. But the monetary value usually will bring any fighter to come back, because that's just what they work for, that's what they do, and they don't mind all of that stuff.
Yeah, you guys got to remember, like at the end of the day, like most people that are listening to this channel is a 9 to 5. If you were to say, okay, well, I'm going to give you a fight for 200,000, and then you could sit out the rest of the year.
Mm,
That's really tempting. Because
yeah.
you don't like what I think Nonito worked for. What did you work for? Petco?
PetSmart.
PetSmart. Nonito worked for PetSmart. The only job he had in his damn life besides boxing. And wait.
No, I'm gonna come up with this is because of the fact that the only reason I quit and I said I'm gonna box is I didn't like being told what to do. I'm like, nah, forget this. This is not me. This is not what I do. I boxed all my life, and that's what I did all my life. And it came to a point when I said, you know what, forget this. I'm quitting boxing. After I had my first loss in the second fight, I said, forget this. I quit boxing. I started working, try to go get my college and all this other stuff, and I couldn't afford them and all of that, and I started working, try to get to that next step, and I was like, I do not like being told what to do, and I came back to boxing.
Right.
So,
Okay.
like, you're asking guys that have done not just professionally 20 years, um,
All the life.
all their life. Like, you're looking at 8, 10 years old, like going over to the Olympics, like trying to really to get that secure spot, and then going over to the pros, and how many years that actually takes, and then what sacrifices in those they made, and then at the end of the day, you're telling them to just let it go. That let go is it's like you're really peeling their every single one of their fingers of something that they actually had. It doesn't matter. Like all these like a lot of these boxers do have something, like Mayweather, right? He's going in, he's gone crypto, he's invested into gyms, he's done all these other things, but why is there something within the sport of boxing that keeps them there? It's because that's security for them. They know if they get in the ring, it's you versus me. The odds are at least somewhat 50-50
Mm. But don't you
versus,
have to love training though? I mean, because with like Wilder, he said it often enough. He hates training.
I mean, yeah, you have to. Yeah, you totally have to. Like you have to at least at some point in time realize that, okay, well, so if as like a professional football player, like there's off season and on season, right? Um the weird part about boxing is there's a lot of boxers that feel like there's an off season and they gain like 30 pounds, and then there's fat camp before they actually go into camp, if they
Tank
actually go
Davis,
into camp not fat.
Spence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I've heard like weird stories that Spence is supposed to be fighting the rematch in February. I'm like, are you kidding? I just saw him buy a dog and he didn't look anywhere near where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Um but it's a weird part of boxing.
no, it's the inactivity is what it is. The inactivities, it's like that conversation is a long one because the activity of the fighters is contingent upon the ability of the promoter to have these fight dates, but the ability of the promoter is contingent upon the size of their budget. And if you just think about that faction of fighters or just that side of the street, the issue there was the budget was getting smaller at Fox until they eventually left, right? And at Showtime until they eventually left. The network budget, the annual budget that they give you to do fights throughout the calendar year, it was shrinking based on declining viewership because, the viewership, and I'll talk about that a lot, here on the channel, that the viewership is more important than the fans realize. Because if a network is giving you money, it's so that your promotion can bring them views. And when you don't bring them big views, well, they don't give you big money. So the budget's going to get smaller year after year after year, and that's more or less what happened with the PBC. When you read through the whole thing about the people at Paramount, the guy's name, what's his name? McKins. I forgot his name. The point was they decided to cut anything that wasn't bringing them big views, which is what I suspected all along. The reason the fighters are not as active is because there's not as much money in the budget. There aren't as many fight dates, and it could have been remedied if those fighters would have been outsourced. But the PBC and not just them, but they do it a lot. They want to keep everything in house. So you're going to get
Has
a lot of fighters that are sitting around and they're not doing nothing. And they're not fighting. So they're eating.
has any PBC fighter ever entered any of the World Boxing Super Series?
No.
That's what I thought.
Rachel,
No.
Nanito, if you're there, I was wondering, no fighter, well, very few fighters end up actually undefeated in their careers. So, for you specifically, how have you managed to process like losses and been able to drive forward? Because for some people, it seems to like spur them on. For others, it seems to properly derail them. Like, what's your process?
Can I say that way before Nonito talks? The problem is that so Nonito already broke, like he got his loss. The second pro fight he already had a loss, and so at that point now we're not protecting anything. But I'll let you talk to him about that.
No, I think ultimately when it comes down to it, every man is different. Every opportunity is different. And so for those that were built to be undefeated and been undefeated for such a long time, when they do lose, they are hit hard. Like for me, it was early in my career, just like Hagler, just like Hopkins. We lost in our second fights, and to us, we said it was done. I'm done. That's, at least for me, I was like, I'm done. And somehow, some way, I got over it. And when I got over it, I didn't have to protect anything. I was just there to be a killer. I came out there just like, you know what? Forget it. I just went and did without any fear of losing. And I think that's the biggest component of fighter being able to express and fight at their best is when they don't think about all of that stuff, when there is nothing hindering you. And at the same time, it could go the other way as well. But for me, I was able to fight at my best because I didn't have nothing to lose.
Like at the same time, like you look at a lot, like there's a lot of guys that don't have a lot on the records. Like when we went to WBC and we were challenging Jason, and the second when Jason had he beat that one guy, and he was number 2, and his record looks fucking amazing. It's 50 plus something wins with like 2 losses, or maybe
No losses.
one loss. No, he lost to Jason, and then like 4 fights ago, he lost a taxi cab. He won against a taxi cab driver who just decided to be a fucking debut fighter. If you guys want us to do that, great. Let's go find someone off the street. We'll find someone who's a debut fighter, and 4 fights, and within 4 fights will be number 1. Like that's the ridiculousness of like you have to look at the competition and the quality of the opponent.
But they don't though. That's the thing, is that they are, like, for promoters, that's their job, right? To get you to like 20-0, and they make you believe that you are this kind of person. I'm actually coming out with the book next year, and it's about what the true meaning of loss, of losing. And for me, I've lost numerous times, but I've always come back, and at the end of the day, I'm a happy guy with a happy life, and nothing can take that away from me. You know what I'm saying? So that in itself is a true key to every losses that we have, every setback that we have as human beings, as fighters, as athletes, it's just anybody.
But okay, I'm gonna be Jules right now. Do you feel like a lot of the fighters right now actually believe that they should be holding their loss and like protecting their O and not finding someone that should be?
As in their mind, that's something that they have to protect, because that gives them relevance, that gives them something to, similarities, or I guess along the line of Mayweather. Well, back in the days, we just fought everybody.
Yeah,
That was me.
yeah, you took the words out of my mouth with the Mayweather reference because that's what it is. That, well, one, losing a fight could affect a fighter's contract. I'll bring up later Alvarez, former WBO light heavyweight champion. There was a stipulation in his contract that so long as he was champion, he would make seven-figure purses, a minimum of $1 million a fight. But the stipulation said that if he loses the title, they can renegotiate the contract. So that is an incentive for an undefeated fighter to want to stay undefeated. There is a reason for that, but it all kind of stems from that. Oh, well, we got to protect the Mayweather era and all these different things. Boxing was actually bigger before that. You had a lot of fighters that had losses. Marvin Hagler before he lost before he had some of the biggest fights that he ever had. He already had a controversial loss to what's this guy base and was it Alan Minter?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it was a controversial loss, but the point is that the audience and the fighters and the promoters as well need to come out of this thing where you got to be undefeated. You have to have because you can put on a show and have one loss, two losses, three losses, four losses, five losses, and you can still put on a show. You can still put up a great fight. You could win the fight, you could lose the fight. But so long as the people that were there enjoyed the fight, that's actually what matters more than that. Because when they hear that fighter's name, oh, so and so is fighting. He whoop ass. He gonna fight. They're gonna want to go. They're gonna want to
Derek
see it.
Chisora.
That's the perfect example. That's the most crude example that, like, dog, Derek got losses in the double digits, but if Derek is fighting, people are going. Why? Because they know Derek is going to try. They know Derek is going to fight. He might win, he might lose, but he damn sure going to fight. So everybody needs to just come off of that. Oh yeah, you gotta have this. Like, nah, dog. Most boxers are not gonna come into this sport and leave with an unblemished record. That happens very, very, very rarely. You know what I mean? And nothing against the guys that did it, like Benito, like Floyd, like Joe Calzaghe. That's cool. Like Andre Ward. That's cool. But those are exceptions to the majority. The majority of boxing careers ain't gonna be like that. The majority of boxers ain't gonna be like that. Nah. And that's all right. That's cool. Motherfuckers need to stop lambasting people for it. It's the resentment comes from, I think, when a fighter loses, like say Wilder loses and people start saying all these negative things. I believe that the resentment and the negativity comes from people feeling like they were conned, like they were lied to. Oh, y'all said this dude is this, that, and the other. Maybe that's just promoters doing too good of a job and people falling for it, or people getting mad at narratives. You take the good with the bad. I think the best way for fighters to deal with losses is to look at them as your first heartbreak or your first breakup. You know what I mean? Just look at it like that. Like, you'll be all right, dog. It's all good. Like, you lost the fight. That's all right. You'll win the next one. And if not, you'll win the one after that. It's all right. Everybody got to get out of that mentality. Like, I seen the kid, Frank Martin, walk away from the Stevenson fight. And it's like, your dog, like, you don't know if it's going to be another $1 million opportunity. You really don't know that. You know what I mean? Especially with the way the landscape is now in America. You don't know if somebody going to offer you $1 million next year or over $1 million. You don't know that. So you gonna walk away from that? To do what? To protect your unbeaten record. You can't pay the light bill with your unbeaten record, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go up
I
to
mean,
the landlord.
I love you, Jules, but let's be honest. Like like Shakur actually doesn't own to to start making offers though.
No, they made him, and they made him. It was practically done. It was practically, the fight was all but made, and Frank withdrew. It was ordered by the WBC for the vacant WBC title. Frank stood to make over $1 million for the fight, right? And he said he wanted a little bit extra, but it's just like, dog, for a little bit extra, you just missed out on seven figures. Now, next year is going to get here, right? You're on your side of the street. Is there anybody over there that can offer you seven figures? Because if there isn't, you just costed yourself a lot of money.
No, I get you, but what I'm saying is it's not Shakur.
Well, no, it's Top Rank. If we're gonna, if we're gonna get into where really it's ESPN. If we're getting to where the money's coming from, but it's just that he withdrew. He pulled out. What are you gonna do now? Was it better to haggle for a few 100,000 extra if it costs you over a million and a title shot? I
I
don't.
just feel like there's fighters right now, and there's also promoters that are fishing their own fighters to figure out like what the minimum that their fighters are going to actually take for the fight for, because they understand the game.
I would say if you're Frank and you're not about to get a Gervonta Davis fight, which he isn't, he's not in the running. There are no other opportunities on your side of the street that are for the same dollar amount as that one was. You don't have to win that fight with Shakur. You know that. You don't have to. If you hurt him or if you rock him a couple of times, if you put on a show, winning and losing doesn't even come into it. People are going to want to see you fight. That's how it was for Daniel Jacobs after he fought Gennady Golovkin. After he fought Gennady Golovkin and gave him the fight that he gave him, it's like, oh shit. And that's when he started getting more paydays after that. He got the Canelo fight, he got the Chavez fight, the Divinchenko fight. He started getting paydays. And it wasn't because he won, it was because he put up such a great fight. So
Yeah,
for
but Jules, if I were to tell you like, hey, like we were like, let's just say we had a fighter, and you're like, and you were like, hey, so I'm gonna offer Nonito 2.5 3 million. Let's go Abner Mars. 3 million to fight my fighter. And I'm like, great. Who the hell is your backing? And you actually didn't have the sign off from Top Rank to make that offer.
I see what
'Cause
you mean.
Shakur, you know what I'm saying? Like Shakur is not his own promoter. Shakur is Top Rank. Top Rank has the exclusive deal for them to actually negotiate on his own fights. They have the rights to his fight. So like the thing that I don't like about social media, and I've said it time and time again, is that a lot of these fighters are pretending to own the bag that they can't negotiate on. You don't have the bag.
Oh no, no, yeah, no, no. I don't disagree with that. There's a lot of that, but it is established that Frank was going to make a minimum of seven figures for that fight. Low end, a little over a million. But Frank is not a seven-figure fighter. He's not, and he's older than Shakur. That's the other angle of it. That well, where Shakur and these other kids are in their mid 20s and early 20s, Frank, you're almost 30. This is a title shot. This is seven figures, right? You really have to understand you're walking away from this to do what? To fight who? Now, we're several months out from all of that. The opportunity has come and gone. What's Frank doing? Taking pictures on Instagram. I, I hope that's better. I hope
No, I
that's
get
better.
it, but at the same time, like if I'm gonna take a like I'm gonna take like let's just say like what social media is doing right now is I'm gonna take like I'm Frank, you're Shakur. I say, okay, bet you're as Shakur going to go back to Top Rank. Can you actually secure that? And the fact that you can't is actually scary
I
because
would
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like you Shakur as Shakur, you can't make the fight.
no, of course not.
But I
But
thought Top Rank were the ones that put the money up in this
that's
before Shakur even went with the offer because he
yeah,
was the next in line.
that's what I was gonna say. That the I guess confirmation that that's what he stood to make. It's from the people at Top Rank because that's what they said. Yeah, he was going to make like a little over $1 million for that fight. We know that the money and all this different stuff, it's not coming from Shakur. It's not his money. It's coming from them, which is coming from ESPN. But the long and the short of it is when we talk about fighters protecting the O and all that stuff, that's those residuals from the Mayweather era, protecting the unblemished record. Well, you have a fighter like Frank that it seems like, well, like dog, like what do you think you have going on that you think you can turn down over $1 million? Are there a lot of other $1 million opportunities lying around for you? Because if there are, then I can understand. But if there aren't, what you did was very foolhardy because you are older than these fighters. These fighters are younger than you. They have the luxury of time. You don't have that luxury. Now, if you believe in yourself and you believe in your boxing, then you go in there and you take care of business. And if you lose, it's not the end of the world so long as you put up a good fight. But you have to fight because that's your profession. That's your craft. Not fighting doesn't get you anything.
Do you think
And
maybe we can put Frank Martin in the same boat as Luis Ortiz and Adam Kalnaki?
I would, and it's. I mean, of course, I would. That's what it looks like. Luis Ortiz had the opportunity to box for 3 alphabet titles, and what was it, $5 or $6 million? That's life altering money. A lot of boxers are never going to see $5 or $6 million in their careers, let alone for one fight. There's a lot of boxers that are never going to see money like that. So for y'all to turn it down, I dog, you know, I.
Jules, I love you, but at the same time, like these, like what's happening with social media, like a lot of boxers are saying they're their own boss, and they don't, based on the agreements and the terms of the agreement. So if you're like, let's just say Nonito's like, okay, cool, Jules, I'm gonna fight your fighter for 3 mil, and we agree on terms, and you can't get your promoter to agree to pay me that 3 mil. Who am I going to sue? You see what I'm saying? Like
No,
that's
now
my
there are nuances and intricacies to every single situation, but when we talk about Ortiz, for example, the way that we know that that's what he stood to make is his manager. He went on the Boxing Voice after everything fell apart, and he's the one that said that. But somebody else, this is the weird thing. Luis Ortiz and his manager and his trainer were not privy to the dollar amount. They didn't know it was for 5 and 6. The manager and the promoter, they did know. Now the manager said that, yeah, was happy with the 5 and 6, but the promoter saw that Eddie was in a pinch and AJ was in a pinch because they needed a late replacement, so he kept asking for more money. So with that situation, yeah, it's established these guys was gonna get a lot of fucking money for that fight. That was what ended up being the Andy Ruiz fight because they turned it down. Like that bit of it, it's established these guys were gonna get 5 and 6 for that fight. But
It
once
was actually
again,
7.
but at the end of the day, when we sign a promotional agreement, and I would have to bring up the thing, but it's exclusively, your promoter is exclusively allowed to have all the rights to your fight and negotiate your fights. So if I don't have, like, if me myself as a manager doesn't have the right to negotiate and pull the money for the fight, how can I legally say as a fighter, I'm going to pay you when I know it's coming out of someone else's purse and I don't have the legal right to actually say I can?
well, that's just the games that fighters play to curry favor amongst the fan, and we see a lot of the young guys doing that. You know what I mean? But this situation that we're describing now, it wasn't AJ saying this and that to Ortiz. It was Eddie Hearn. It was the guy paying for the fight saying that, like, yeah, we
No,
offered him a lot of
we're
money.
talking about Shakur. We're talking about Shakur versus Frank. Shakur
Now,
doesn't
no, no, no.
own the rights to the fight.
Back to Shakur. When that fight fell apart, the representatives at Top Rank, the people who were going to pay for the fight, they said they were surprised because the fight was all but made. Frank stood to make a little over $1 million. Shakur stood to make his guarantee, which looks to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.5 to 3 mil a fight. It's just somewhere in that neighborhood, and that came from them. That the fight was all but done, but Frank withdrew.
So it wasn't Shakur. Like that's
No,
what
no,
I'm
yes,
saying.
that,
Like
No,
yeah,
the fight was ordered by the WBC because he was the next in line.
yeah, like what was it?
We got a first bid.
Things between Devin and Shakur did not work out. Shakur was Devin's mandatory. We know things didn't work out. I don't want to get into their whole thing because that kind of speaks to what Rachel's saying that, well, Devin's saying I did A, B, C, and like, bro, with whose money?
Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. That's
With
yeah,
the
but
whose
thing,
then
is
it
that
was
money,
like
bro?
Isaac Cruz.
what irritates me so much is that like it, and like it could be Shakur, it could be possibly Tank, it could be Devin. Like, you guys, like, the actual contract states that you're exclusively to the promoter, can negotiate, and they have the rights to your name, likeness, and your fights. So when they have those rights, you have absolutely no rights. You can, like, you can puff out your chest all you want,
Yeah,
but
everybody jumps on Twitter and plays like I know they get everybody jumps on Twitter and plays Diddy like it's they money that like yeah I dig that like I dig that. The situation with Frank and Shakur, however, well that was really Top Rank that let it be known that like yeah it was ordered, we were gonna do it, this is what we were gonna pay him, and he withdrew, and then he made an appearance on a podcast right here on YouTube, and he said that his gripe was he wanted a little bit more money. He let it out the bag. He wanted a little. I guess I don't know what a little bit more means. I don't know if that means 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. I don't know what a little more means. But it is established that you stood to make a career high purse from that fight, from the people that were paying for the fight, because it was going to be on their side of things. It was going to be that F1 weekend in Vegas. That whole thing they built all that up for that or whatever. So the dollar amount is not in question. That yeah, that's what you were going to get, bro, and you walked away from that. But to do what? To do what? You haven't fought since then, and we don't know when, if, and when he's gonna fight next year. So it's like that old saying: a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It might not be shit in the bush, but you got a bird in the hand, so go with it. It's not like his chances.
I just wish at the end of the day, like, and this is wishful thinking, like, and I've said this time and time again, I wish that this was like a like regular business. If I were to offer you a house, like you're selling a house, Jules, and you say it's 1 million, and I counter the offer, I it's in writing, and I sign that in writing, and then you counter that by saying no, I agree to this. The thing is that, like for example, and I keep using this as an example. Nonito was offered, quote unquote, by Golden Boy to fight Abner Mares for 3 mil. We were at a Top Rank. I never saw that in writing ever, 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 ever. So the fact that anyone's ever saying anything, it's irritating in the sport of boxing, because I don't like the word duck. I don't like, people saying that, oh well, he ducked because he wasn't getting enough money and all these stuff. What is enough money? I don't know. We never actually have a legal system within boxing to make anyone accountable, because it's all words.
Well,
So
some of it is smear campaigns. Like I-
100,
some
100%.
of it is smear. Like I don't. Base is not going like this. I already know Base gonna get mad at me, right?
Oh, don't bring
But
me into this.
I'm bringing you in. When Devin said, "Yeah, man, I got 25% for Shakur," yeah, I mean, he's like, "I got 25%, and that 25% is more than his last 3 fights." Now, me being me, the numbers already start to go off in my head. So you either got 6 mil or 9 mil, just somewhere in between there, between 6 and 9, right? All right, so if 6 and 9 is 25%, what are you getting? You get 24 mil, 26 mil, $32 million pot when I put it all together. Bro, where are you getting $32 million from? Because you saying that. You saying that online. And you're courting favor from the fans, currying favor from the fans that, yo, I offered them to fight. I offered, and I'm like, wait a minute. Nothing against the Haneys, right? But you don't have a network broadcast partner. You got DHP, right? What network does DHP have a deal with that gives you a budget? Because that's where the money come from. It don't come from the air. It come from the network. If you don't got a network behind you, where do you have this money for Shakur, right? And it's just a smear campaign. That's like, to me, that's how that looked. And like, it's easy for you to say that because most people aren't gonna stop and think about it. They're like, well, where did you get the money to offer him? And
Well,
two, he's
not even that, Jules. Like if Base is saying 25%, and I'm like, I've gone through this whole, like, wave of like 25% of a guaranteed purse, 25% of all profits, 25%. Like, I'm like, which one is it? Because if you start putting in 25%, okay, if it's 25% of base purse, a lot of these guys will go, okay, well, so we'll give you, let's just make it 10 mil. So you get 25 of the base purse, 25, 2.5. Okay. But if it's 25% of all profits without taxes first and you get scrape off the top, then that's a whole different story. But then everyone's saying, well, no, it wasn't that. It was this. It wasn't worldwide rights. It wasn't merchandise. It wasn't ticket sales. Like, I mean, like it. This is what I'm saying. At the end of the
And
day,
the generalizations are made general on purpose because they know that the layman is gonna hear 25. That's a good fucking deal. You should have took that shit. And before you know it, they're lambasting you for not. It's like and it's a lot of that in box, especially now with Twitter and all the social media and all the content creators that they're gonna run with it. They're not gonna really dissect it. They're just gonna, yo, he turned down 25%. B, he's ducking. You know what I mean? It's like every situation is not the same. There is not a one size fits all answer for every situation or for every set of negotiations. I feel like some are a little bit more bullshit than others, and that's what's like, bro. Look, I like the Haney's, I like Devin, right? But 25%, my motherfucking ass, my hairy ass, bro. You ain't got no. Nah, I don't believe
Jules,
y'all. I don't
Jules, can
believe you. Oh nah, base. I don't believe
there
that
no, no,
just
shit,
no,
needs
no,
bro.
because
there just needs to be a little bit more like there is no transparent, like, and we've been saying this since day one though. There is no transparency in boxing. So we just like the negotiations and even so much more what Jules is saying is that like the narrative can be changed either way. And so if everything was exactly like a real estate deal, like I said, where everything is in writing, we could go back and forth and then it gets quote unquote leaked, then we would be able to see like what are you arguing against? What are you're arguing against 200,000, or you're trying to get like another 5 mil on the front end.
no,
I
no, no.
think
And
I
then
want to make it
you
clear.
know what I'm
Hold on.
saying?
Let me just go. I want to make it clear. When it came to this, and I said this to you, Jules, I believed that the offer was in bad faith. I didn't believe it was a genuine offer. What I
oh,
said to you, and you, this is what you chose not to listen to when I said it, and this is where it makes a very good point. Because Devin said, "All right, take 25%." What Shakur then did was say, "Nah, I'm gonna go and push for the mandatory because I think it might be 30 or whatever." But he was only entitled to one belt by pushing the mandatory. Had he have said, "Okay, I accept," then that would have made Devin have to then drop all the belts or to drop that belt at that point, and then that makes it look more like Devin's ducking rather than the narrative that Shakur's ducking. But
yeah,
because he tried to push, Devin can then drop that and say, "Okay, no, no, you don't deserve 30% of my pot. I went to Australia. I took 2.3 million. I took 21%, and you're trying to take 30. No, forget you. Drop that belt, move up a weight." So that's what I said was that because Shakur didn't just go out on Twitter and basically, all right, cool, call his bluff. He basically allowed it to be put on himself that he's now only fighting for
yeah,
a
but
vacant title instead
how
of
can
fighting for undisputed. That's what
how
I said
can
to you.
no. How can see because one, I think that the powers that be know that the average boxing fan is a fucking moron, right? Because what we're saying is that by Shakur saying, "Nah, fam, I'm gonna tell them to order it because if they order it, I get a better split." How on earth is that? Yeah, Shakur is avoiding Devin by telling them to order the fight.
Jules, are you not?
Nah,
Do you say you're not listening to what I just said?
I just heard you,
No,
bro.
but you see, because if you just heard me, you wouldn't have said what you just said because that's not the point. My point was, you remember, Devin
No,
said
no, no. The point
25%.
the point was that there were people that turned that situation into, oh, Shakur is avoiding Devin, that you ducked the undisputed. That was the narrative that was propagated after the fight fell apart, well, the negotiations. And I'm saying, how the fuck can you turn that into Shakur Duck Devin by going to the WBC and telling them to order the fight with Devin, who
Because
then
the
vacated.
narrative at that point is that he's trying to get too much money for he's only entitled to one belt. I can give that up and go and fight for another one because he's asking for too much money, which he doesn't deserve. That's the narrative that ran, and that's what happened. That's basically why Shakur got lambasted afterwards, because they're trying to say, oh well, you basically only wanted to fight for a vacant title because when you had a chance at 25% and undisputed, you decided just to enforce a mandatory for one belt instead of the four.
No,
That's
no, no. They were trying to enforce, like, so Jules. What was happening is like Dev on one side was saying 25% when he knew that if he went to WBC purse bid or mandatory position, it would have been 30%. So that's 5% more.
exactly.
But the problem with that scenario is that Dev was saying that he was, again, the 25% that we didn't understand. 25% of what?
Uh-huh.
That he was going to cover all sanctioning fees. So even if you went to the WBC 30%, the 30% is 30% of 90%, first of all. Okay? So when,
Yep.
like let's be clear, it's not 100%. It's 90%, then 30% of that, and the 10% that was like pulled off at the top is giving over to the winner. In additionally, they still have to pay the other sanctioning bodies that are going to pay. So that's 12% in addition to, where on the other side, Dev was saying that he was going to pay 25% and all the sanctioning fees. But 25% of what?
Exactly.
Exactly. And I said I agreed with all of that, and
Of
I even said that
monopoly
to you,
money.
Jules.
Of
But but
monopoly money.
but my point was, and again, as I said to you, the narrative was Devin, basically, Shakur managed to give Devin a way out of the situation by not calling his bluff and just accepting the 25%. Because Devin was always going to move up. That's what I said. And that's what you never chose to listen to when I was explaining it to you.
I listen. I'm just saying that it's quite a leap to say that one guy, and I'm not saying that you said this so much as that people are stupid. That it's quite a leap to say that, oh, Shakur didn't want to fight Devin. Well, he's going to the WBC to order the fight with Devin. As a result of him doing that, who dropped the belt? Devin. He wouldn't have a vacant title to fight for if you didn't give it up. And if your rationale is, oh, well, he wants too much, he wants 5% more than the 25. That's what we're talking. We're talking about 5%. 5% is too much. Really? Come on, dog. It was very obvious to me that, and I'm not arguing this to Base because Base knows this like I know this. The Lomachenko fight was always going to be Devin's last fight at that weight because he's too fucking big. He's 25. He's killing himself. He can't keep making that weight. That whole thing with Shakur was just, to me, a smokescreen to save face so he wouldn't look like he's avoiding him. And for what it's worth, it's not that I think he's scared of Shakur. No, it's that, bro, this kid cannot make 135 no more, dog. Unless he gonna chop a leg off, then maybe. He's fucking huge. You know, so
I
Fox.
agree. No, Nito has talked to Bill. I don't know, like it was early January or February of last year. Oh well, no, sorry, this year. Where Bill was like, "What if we can't make the weight anymore?" So, like, Bill had talked to Nonito and was like, "Well, if we move up, we're ducking people, but if we stay, we're draining. Like, which one do you choose?"
And I'm not mad. I said it before, I'll say it again. If Devin would have just said, look, dog, I can't make this weight no more. Maybe we'll meet down the line at 140 or 147, but I cannot make this fucking weight no more. That'd have been good enough for me. Because it was obvious, it was obvious. Devin is 25. His body is literally still getting bigger. There's a picture of him with Crawford, with Terrence fucking Crawford, a welterweight. He made Crawford look small. This was in between. He made Crawford look. I'm like, yeah, dog. That dude can't make 135 no more. It's all good. I don't want to see a drained fighter. I don't want to see drained Devin versus Shakur that just got here. Nah, it's all good. You could be up front. But I think I'm too even tempered. The average boxing fan is not even tempered. are level headed. They're like, yes, sometimes it's not ducking, dog. Sometimes it's just, yeah, that shit ain't going down yet. I never thought, yeah, after Lomachenko, Devin gonna fight Shakur. Nah, that shit ain't probably gonna happen for another 3 years, man. For real though. Like that shit ain't that's not about to go down. And it's all right. Cause they young. They got time and it's other people for them to fight. So it's all good. But I figured that was the situation. Like that kid can't make that weight unless he's gonna chop his fucking foot off, right? And even at 140, yeah, that's hard too. So go to 47, do your thing, acclimate, fight some people. Don't talk no shit though, because that's what I see. Motherfuckers go somewhere and start talking shit. They talk that shit about that Puerto Rican Matias, and that shit backfired real fucking fast. Like, fam, how the fuck are you calling Peter Khan about Matias? He don't even fucking manage Matias, bro. So why the fuck would Peter Khan tell you that Matias want 4 mil? You lying, fam. Just you lying. It's simple.
But
That shit
but
was funny
Jules,
as shit.
is that like okay, so honestly, do you feel like the hate is more so on Bill than it is Dev though?
Yeah, but I don't blame Bill because I'm a father, so I understand. Other people not gonna understand. I understand. If you gonna lie your ass off and talk a bunch of shit, you gonna do that for your son to put him in a. Yeah, you gonna do that. You gonna say, man, my son will beat the shit out of Megatron. He'll beat the shit out of Godzilla. Nah, I don't give a fuck. Of course he gonna say that, and he right to do it. That's his father. But other than that, I don't think people have anything against Devin because Devin doesn't say much when you think about it. Devin don't talk that much shit, bro. Devin just be buying his jeans and his chains and shit
That's what I'm
and
saying. Like I feel
doing his
like the
dumb
hate that
shit.
comes to Dev is more so because Bill talks than Dev. And I love that is was that wifey that brought you that coffee?
That's my daughter
Oh, I
bringing me
love
matcha.
that on Christmas Eve. That's amazing.
Thank you,
I love
appreciate
that.
it. She's the
I
best.
love that.
Yeah, no,
But
it's Christmas over here, Rachel.
Yes, Christmas. Oh, okay. Well, so have a Merry Christmas to everyone that is on the other side because we still have it's still 6 over here. So,
Yeah, you're on the West Coast, isn't it?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
But yeah, most of the hate that Devin or most of the backlash that Devin gets is as a result of things that his father does or says. But his father is basically his promoter. And if you're even tempered, if you're level headed, what do they expect Bill to do? What do they expect Bill to say? I can't knock him like, nah, I'm a dad. I dig it. I understand. You got to do that. You got to do that. You got to say that shit. You got to protect your son's image and all of that. I get it. I ain't even mad at it. It's just that sometimes it's unnecessary. But
I agree.
Yeah, and he gets him into predicaments like what we're talking about right now.
yeah,
Um,
like the thing with Matthias was unnecessary because it's like, fam, don't lie on that dude. That dude ain't nothing to play. Like, don't lie on that dude now. And don't turn. If you lie, and it comes out, then it becomes a thing. If you never say shit, it's nothing. But if you lie, oh yeah, Matias wanted 4 mil. He priced himself out the Haney fight. Now you forcing them to check you. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We don't even fucking deal with Peter Khan. What are you talking about? Where does Oh, that's my wife bugging out. That's my wife. I don't know what my son did. He bugging out.
We
Um.
can't hear her.
Oh well, I can. I can. Shh.
but
And,
that's the
and it,
thing, like all everything like that they're doing, like even if it at the end of the day, it's not Devin. Like I feel like Devin is more quiet. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. He's getting the backlash of his dad. So do we really hate Devin as a fighter? Like if we were to separate,
no.
you know what I'm saying though?
He don't.
Like
All he do
separate
is buy
them.
them jackets. He just buy them jackets and them chains, and he just be chilling and he just be doing him. Like you can't. He not really talkative like that. Like if you pay attention, he don't really be saying a whole lot. A whole lot. Like now Ryan just say a lot of shit, man. He just be saying a lot of shit. Some shit good, some of the shit bad. But Devin don't really talk that much, and a lot of the negativity that Devin gets, some of it is because of his father. but some of it is built in. Some of it is built in because there are always going to be Gervonta Davis fans that don't like whoever the new guy is. Well, the new guy is Devin. For years it was the Davis Lomachenko rivalry shit, right? That didn't result in anything. Now it's the Haney versus Davis rivalry. And I don't really think he's gonna fight. I don't think he's gonna fight Devin. I don't think he is. Devin will whoop his ass. His ass.
Okay, if you were to negotiate that fight, where would it be at?
I
Okay,
need
wait. If you were Tank and you were to negotiate a fight, where would it be at? And if you were Haney, where would you negotiate the fight to be at?
If I'm Tank, I offer. If I'm Tank and I want to fight, I'm gonna offer you. I'm gonna offer you 65-35. I'm gonna give you wiggle room to get to 40, but I'm gonna offer you 65-35 to see if you take it. If you ask for 40, we gotta fight. Now, if I'm Devin, unfortunately,
Wait,
eh,
Jules, but wait.
She means
uh-uh.
the weight, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
is there
wait.
rematch?
Oh,
Is there
wait.
rehydration?
Oh, look. I'm gonna be real with you.
I'm putting it on the spot. Come on, bro. Okay,
I,
you have to be Tank, and then you have to be Devin. So I want to hear this.
not because if I'm Tank, I'm not fighting Devin. He's gonna whoop my ass. If we're gonna no, look, if we're gonna call shit what it is, they are doing what I would do. They are doing what I would do. They're already doing it. No offer, right? Nah, he's not biting on. He's not gonna take any weight stipulations. And what it's gonna take to pay him at that, because he's not just anybody. He's a two-division champion. He's been undisputed. He makes good money without us already. He's gonna want more for us, right? And for what we're gonna offer him, they are doing what I would do. Like, yeah, keep Tank away from him. That's what I would do. Like, yeah, if you don't want Tank to lose, keep that little motherfucker away from him. That's what I would do. Now, if I'm Devin, this is not a situation where you say bite the bullet, accept the clause, and be great. Nah, dog. That shit is gonna affect how you fight. It's gonna affect what you can take. No
Yeah.
weight stipulations. None. We fight at 140. No rehydration clause. I'll take 40. Hell, if and now with Devin, I'll say, yo, dog, I take this bitch for 35%. No weight stipulations. 35%. But
Yeah.
there ain't gonna be no weight stipulations.
That's what I said. He should accept 35% if Tank offers him,
That's
but
not
with
a
no
that
other
that is
provisos.
not a fight. I don't know who the matchmakers are over there. I don't know them guys, the guys around Javante. I don't know them guys. I just know that whoever over there, they know what I know. Yeah, you don't want to fight Devin. He will make
Would you do? Would you do 35%? I would take. So if I was Dev, I'll take 35% at 135 with no rehydration clause.
No,
40%.
no.
no,
I'm not
no,
going back
no,
to 135 for what?
no.
Been there, done that. He's been at
He's
Tank's
too
been at
big.
140
I'm
before
just
him.
looking at it from Tank's side. Tank's gonna want 135. So I'm saying I'll take 40. Okay, so I'll take 40% at 135 with no rehydration clause. I'll take
If
35%
Devin
at
can't get down
40.
there. Devin can't get down there without depleting himself. He
if I was
cannot
Devin,
get down
that's a
there.
60-40 in my favor if I've got to go down there. So it's not happening. That's
Yeah.
me.
That's why I said 40% at
No,
35 with no rehydration.
no. But I'm saying Devin would take 60.
And there's
Not he
no
would get 40, and that's not gonna
yeah,
happen.
and there's no way they offered Devin 60. Like, nah.
Now, yeah, you guys are
This
playing like really hardball at this
That's
time.
what I'm
When you
saying. But
say
to go back
no
60,
down to
no
I'm
because
trying to
he's
be
a
135,
realistic.
you have to
non-starter.
offer something special because there's no other way he's gonna even attempt it.
135 is a non-starter. It's a non-start. Like, nah, dog. Devin has outgrown that weight. That is a non-starter. 140 is the middle ground. That's the middle ground. You've been here before, all right? You've been to Javante. I mean, Javante's been at that weight before, all right? Now I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. If you want me to adhere to a rehydration clause, not a catch weight, a rehydration clause, I will do that for 50-50. It's the only way it works out. If not, go ahead, don't fight me. And see what don't fight me. Don't fight me. People still gonna keep asking you to fight me. That's the thing. They're gonna still keep asking you to fight me because I'm not the A side. You're the A side. The pressure's on you, not me. How many times Leonard said, "Nobody make us offers for Tank. We make the all right, all right." They're gonna be mad at you, not me. I'm gonna keep doing my thing. I fought Lomachenko. You didn't. I won a real belt at 140. You didn't. I'm going to 47. I might fight Barrios, the dude you fought. Maybe I'll fight him. Maybe I'll fight somebody else. But I'm doing my thing. Remember, I get money without you. I'm not Isaac Cruz. I'm not Frank Martin. I'm not Edwin De Los Santos. I'm not these people you could play around with their time. I ain't Rolly. You can't play me. So don't fight me. They still gonna be mad at you when you do the podcast. They still gonna ask you about me. They still gonna talk about me on Twitter, on YouTube. It's still gonna go down, and I ain't gotta do nothing because you the A side. You
What
supposed to be the A side.
what do you reckon to a 137 catch rate but no rehydration clause? Do you think he would possibly consider that?
Say it again on base.
Do you think that Haney would consider 137 catch rate, no rehydration clause, 40%?
That's not bad. 137, you get to rehydrate to whatever you want after that. That's
Yeah.
not bad. It's not bad. But
It's still gonna argue 50 because then you're gonna come back to at least 30, 45,
what
65, 45.
what Devin has working for him is that the burden is not on him to make the fight. The burden isn't actually on him, and he's younger than Gervonta. You know, Gervonta's very short, but he's also almost 30. You don't got all the time in the world, and for what you want to make per fight, you don't have an abundance of options. The other guys that are, man, I heard some shit yesterday. I heard some shit, and I believe it. That it's like, dog, like he wants certain type of money, but yeah, you don't get that money fighting Isaac Cruz, bro. You don't. In a rematch, yeah, you're not gonna get that fight in Isaac in a rematch, bro. Or Edwin De Los Santos, or Frank Martin, or a Rolly rematch, or anything over there, Rayo. That stuff is not gonna get you the kind of money that you want to make moving forward from the Ryan Garcia fight. You're not gonna get that kind of money fighting those guys. So, if you want the real money, you need the real opponents, and the burden is all on you because once again, y'all been shouting it from the rooftops that you're the A side, you the face. All right then, face. Make it happen. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
play your motherfucking game. Touch waste. Nah, I ain't doing that. And you're already starting to see the division of the sport because of it. That there are people that are supporting Devin. Why? Yo, Devin fought Lomachenko. Whether you think he won or you think he lost, whatever. That kid got balls. He didn't run from that fight. He ran to that fight. And he went to 140. Now, I ain't going to stick a weight clause on you, Regis. I ain't got to do that. I ain't going to rehydration train station clause you, bro. Let's fight. 140. Let's go. Right? There's a lot of people that respect that about that. Yeah, I don't even think he beat Loma, but I respect the hell out of him. Why? He chose to go to Australia 2 times for George. A lot of people wouldn't have did that. He never ran from Loma. He was asking for Loma since 20, what was it, base? 2019?
19.
He been wanted that fight. And he fought Regis. Regis is a hard puncher. That's a grown-ass man that'll knock somebody out. He fought him. He did his thing. You got to respect it. There's already starting to be a heavy push for Devin. It like, yeah, this is what boxing is all about. He moving like a champion. This is what it's about. Gervonta, like, fam, you've been at you've been at 35 with a secondary title for 5 years, my dude. When you gonna fight for the real one? Lomachenko had it, Lopez had it, Kimbo had it, Devin had it. You didn't try nothing with none of them dudes, B. Out here fighting Rolly. That's crazy. It's fucking crazy. You got time for Rolandio But you ain't got no time for Teofimo with the haircut, George with the tattoos, Devin with the jean jacket. Nah, right? Nah. Mm,
I
my
don't think
man.
I like what are like so at the end of the day, like the next fight, if we were to assume it's supposed to be Isaac Cruz, does
I'm here.
anybody want to see it?
Nope.
Their hope is there's two things. I know what their mindset is. I just can't believe it, but I know what their mindset is. They figure that because Amazon Prime is such a big platform, they can market the fight to that many more potential customers, right? And at the same time, they're hoping that since people have now seen Isaac, from the first Gervonta Davis fights and the other fights that he's had after that, that hopefully they will have built him up a little bit. That's what their mind is. But it's like, people not going to buy that fight, dog. Nah. You're going to go from a little over 1 million to just above 200, if not just below 200. It's going to be a sharp decline. Very sharp. And then it'll make it obvious. What's worse is it'll make it obvious who the driving force for that last pay per view was. Because I mean, Davis, you've been on pay per view 5 times before that, and you never did 1 million buys. You fight this guy, you do 1 million. Now, you guys are saying no, it wasn't Ryan because Ryan was never on pay per view. Well, hey, bro, if it wasn't Ryan, here's what you do: go out there and sell 1 million again without Ryan. I bet you don't. I bet you don't.
Well,
That's like,
best friends, like the best friend, and I'm using air quotes and fucking whateverness at this point, had said that, like, of course, Dev's numbers versus Regis were only 50, but Cruz versus Tank were only 61.
yeah, I can believe that.
So are we really trying to push Cruz again? Like that's madness. Like it's like
They're they're
and if we
working
were
with
to
what they
believe,
have. They're working with what they. I mean, like, if I'm being honest, they're working out of desperation. It's desperation at this point. Because the other thing is the Haney fight is actually a very expensive fight to make. Even if both teams were willing, right? That's a very expensive fight. Between what Devin's gonna want and what Javonte's gonna want. Do you have the resources to set the outfit, the PBC, based on your current situation? Do you have the resources to satisfy the financial demands of both the fighters? And that's in a scenario where they're willing. I don't see that fight ever happening, right? But let's just say that this team wants it, that team wants it, right? They both want it. Do you have the resources to get them the kind of money they want? Based on what I've been hearing, they ain't got the money. They ain't got no money over there. Amazon ain't giving them no dough. So
So I heard.
if you ain't got guarantees to the fighters, I yeah, I don't know what I don't know, dog. We gonna see. That's the fun part is finding out. Huh? Every rumor, every old rumor, and every recent rumor I've heard is the same thing. Amazon is not kicking out no cash to them. They're just distributing the content, but they're not giving them anything. I don't know how you can make fights in a situation like that. Shout out to my man, a freaking. How much credit goes to Ben Davison for AJ's performance? Ben is that dude, man. He combs his hair a lot, watches a lot of fights. He's a smart guy. Shout out to Ben Davison. Drew said, "Who beats this AJ besides Usyk, Jules? Nobody I see. Maybe Jalalov in a few years. That's a dangerous guy. He's only got one eyebrow. I wouldn't want to fight that guy. He only got one eyebrow. He comes out the house with that thing. He could shave it if he wanted to. He doesn't. That's a tough guy. Big guy.
because he has one eyebrow.
Guy's got one eyebrow. He leaves the house with it, man. That shit is crazy. Like, bro, you could shave that shit, bro. Right there, you can shave that shit. You don't gotta walk around with that one joint. You look like a
He could,
cyclops.
he could also microblade like one side too. He doesn't have to shave the other side.
Yeah, like guy looks like a No, but in all honesty, he's a really good fighter. The big Uzbek kid. He's a really good fighter. He moves well for a guy his size. He's strong. His shot selection is on point. If there's a threat to, I guess, this current version of AJ, I would say it's him because I think AJ beats the shit out of Hergovic. I think he can tire out Zang, then take him out. You got to tire him out first. Don't get in no gunfight with him. That left
Yeah.
hand is a motherfucker. Don't get in no gunfight with that dude. Jab him, move, jab him because he's old. He's getting old. Jab him, move. Let the rounds go by, then start hammering him. He's an older
But
cat.
Jules, they said that AJ and Wilder are still supposed to fight.
Nah, Eddie said those plans are dead. AJ said that he's open to it, right? That he would still do it, but Eddie said and I don't blame him. Like I don't really want to see Wilder versus AJ now, dog. Wilder looked just like a skinny old man to me yesterday. They're like, yeah, you shouldn't even be fighting, dog. You shouldn't be fighting.
Wilder ruined that payday for 5 years. He doesn't really deserve it now, especially coming off of a loss. Yeah, AJ said he's open to it because obviously he doesn't want to spoil the bag, but ultimately, like, it ain't gonna happen. Same
Yeah,
as
like
Bo and Tyson didn't happen, and Bo and Lennox and all of that. This is going to be another one, just didn't happen.
bro, I said it in 2018. This is gonna be that all over again. This is gonna be Lewis versus Bo all over again, bro. History repeats itself. We're never gonna like. I'm settled. I'm settled. You know that AJ would have beat him. This guy gets hit too much, and the difference between eating jabs from Spilka and eating jabs from Molina and eating jabs from just these guys is when AJ hits you with his jab, his power on it, bro. He's gonna bust you up if you don't move your head. Like this to me, it's easy to see what would have happened, but because it became such a polarizing subject, it is what it is. But I'm settled that AJ would have beat him. He would have beat him then. He would definitely beat him now.
Yeah.
Can't was a one-handed fighter. Was always a one-handed fighter. You're losing rounds to Spilka for God's sakes. It's nothing against these guys, but it's common sense. You get hit too much at the start of a fight. You start a lot of fights at a great deficit, round by round. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. That you could take the shots if they're Spilka shots, or Areola shots, or
Not
these other
Molina.
right. You can take the shots. This big motherfucker, 6'6", 200 and fucking what, 250 something. Like nah, dog. Like you can't be getting hit by this dude. B. He's gonna
And have you
fuck you
noticed,
up.
Jules? Have you noticed, like, when AJ used to be in the 250s before, he was very sort of sluggish and he was slow. But now he's actually like 250 lean and he's quicker than he was when he was fighting to Cam at 254 and whatnot.
But it was also the spite. It was a spiteful jab. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
he used to step into the jab and commit to the jab. I got some gifts that just came in. Y'all give me a second.
All right. Well, it looks like y'all got me to speak to for the time being. As Jules is off camera. I know Rachel's I think she's going to check on the kids. I don't know if Beats is still with us. Beats, you still there?
I'm here.
Oh, you are. You back. Rach, we need to rearrange the interview, man. What's the schedule looking like?
After the New Year's.
Okay. All right, I'll be in touch because it was a shame it didn't happen when the fight was about to take place, but I definitely need to get the New Year plans and whatnot.
Oh, 100. Yeah, just ping me on.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jules knows this. Do not ping Nonito. Like his thing goes ping, 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 and then you get lost. So no one
No,
can
I'll ping you directly. Same as before.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Right now, everybody, I'm gonna go do a bunch of shit. I want everybody to have a Merry Christmas. I hope everybody gets what they want, get some good sleep, and I will see y'all on the next one.
All right.
Thank you so
Peace.
much, Jules.
Rachel, speak to you soon. Take care,
Yep.
Jules.
Love you, Jules.